But Ban's pretty,
So.
you know, standard. I don't think we're going to see
Wurde kurz
crazy
gepowermeldet.
draft. Jarvan taken away, so maybe some immobile carries being telegraphed here by the side of SK. Although with mages, there's just kind of a lot of immobile carries, so
Super.
Jarvan makes sense.
I think Orianna for me is a very interesting one because SK Giant X won 3 games and SK nor Giant X were willing to pick it. Especially SK, they had the Nocturne and had a really good Orianna game. They went for the Silas instead.
Jarvan,
So I'm curious
Cassio,
to see if there's
Orianna noch offen.
SK that just don't play Orianna, or does SK just think Orianna isn't a very good champion? Because overall, Orianna has been incredibly high priority, so I think G2 are just going to first pick it here.
What's going to happen? I hear some top father chance. I don't think he's going to pick for himself.
Nee, ich habe noch keine Antwort bekommen auf dem Band.
It's kind of hard to cheer for the person. They'd have to predict who he's going to pick for.
Which
Okay.
they could.
They could try that.
Ja, Shen Orianna, Shen Nafiri 1-2. Wäre jetzt Standard.
Which it would be a nice change of pace if that was for top. But it's
Shen
not.
Lee Sin auch noch, kann man auch machen.
Instead, Victor is going to be locked in here. Now, this has been a pretty comfortable flex. And Hansama, kind of the surprise of many, looking pretty good on some mages, and Victor is one of them.
I'm surprised at how Orianna's dropped in prio, though. It seems like Victor has become the premier mage for so many teams. Probably a lot due to the fact that it's much more comfortable to flex it into the bot lane. We saw, what was it, Shifters played Orianna bot lane, I think it was, and I mean, it's fine, but it's not the pressure.
Kann man nie da first picken. Finde ich nicht so
So
super.
I think it makes sense in that aspect.
Kein Shen
We'll have to
gepickt.
see if G2 now want to pick it up on 2-3 or if they want to go a different direction with the draft. The 6 Lee Sin locked in for SK.
And this is difficult because we were really set up.
Boah, also, das heißt, wir haben jetzt hier
Yeah,
ne, Shen, Camille,
yesterday, so I thought he would not play.
Leona alle offen. Alles da theoretisch auch offen.
Stats. Now he's in a very boring bot lane matchup, but that does mean that the supports are going to be more exciting to watch. LeBron versus Mickey there, as we kind of are just expecting Victor versus Ziggs bottom lane.
Skarner immer eine gute Antwort auf Kollegen Lee Sin.
The Skarner, like, out of the blue like that. Normally Skarner is a champ we see later on.
Ist nicht out of the blue, ist eine gute Antwort zu Lee Sin.
But the fact that they're going such a tanky lineup here, no Bruiser yet locked in for G2, they really need a lot of damage from Caps and Broken Blade as they go later on into this draft. Although at the same time, I actually like the tankiness when they also go the Jace now for SK, because SK is building a pretty normal, nice poke comp. So there's a lot of beefy boys that can absorb that damage from the side of G2.
I like it, but I do like that you highlight that they need more damage. I feel like all of the great Victor teamfight highlights.
Jorik Olafband?
Yes, this is all getting bigger and bigger.
Someone else needs
to start the ulti getting bigger and bigger kind of process, right? He can't quite do it all on his own, unless it's really late game where the enemy team is really squishy. So G2 a lot of good CC tools, but they're not always the best proactive tools there. It's maybe over-reliant on Shen Taunt Flash currently. So maybe a bit more damage, a bit more proactive engages. Poke, poke, poke is the story for SK, so not surprising to see them take away yet another beefy boy as Cassante has been banned away.
That's curious to me that they think that G2 lineup still functions even with triple tank. Well, I guess like both Cassante and Skarner, they're tanks, but they have a lot of damage, you know?
Kind of fake tanks.
So it does make sense in that aspect. I think Ambessa would make a lot of sense for G2 because it provides that really nice follow-up and just it's really nice to play into the poke comps, but it's the Yorick ban instead for the matchup for the Jace.
Frage spielt Bibi Olaf.
So to avoid that split push threat and to have a nicer matchup for Wunder up in the top line.
Now, what will the final ban be here from G2? Quality already gone.
They could also put the Shen top. We saw Flandre play Shen top into Jace a few times in EWC.
Macht er.
It's a tough matchup for the Shen, but
Sehen wir mal.
it's definitely like it's Broken Blade on Shen. It's he was kind of the pioneer of this champion in Europe, so could be something that we see. We haven't really seen this Shen flexed at all. I do think it has a lot of power to be flexed, but a lot of teams just seem very comfortable to just put it in the bot lane regardless of the matchup.
Interesting that they opted for the Leona ban there. Camille has been hovered repeatedly, but not going to be picked up. Instead, it is the Nautilus. Camille against the Shen, against the Skarner, I imagine can have a pretty tough time getting onto that backline. So maybe that's the logic as to why.
Ich weiß halt nicht, ob ich so happy bin mit Victor Adekari hier wieder für Hans. Er war insanely horrible darauf letzte Woche.
Pick something that is immobile as another source of damage.
Besser.
Something like the Varus. It's a pretty clear path forward for team fights for SK.
Viel besser.
Would have been, but Sivir Spell Shield certainly going to help
Olaf,
a lot to
ist gut.
mitigate some of that poke and some of that engage threat.
So G2 making use of the Victor flex pick and actually putting it in mid lane. It looks like it's going to be the Olaf for Broken Blade. We've been seeing Olaf spring up as a bit of a counter pick into the Jaces, into the Nars, and it does slightly lose the lane in terms of push, but then you have such strong all-in that you always have a kill threat, even going later into the game.
Ja, ich kann euch ja schon sagen, dass SK dieses Game niemals gewinnen wird.
Of all time. I mean, the Olaf
SK will eine Pokémon spielen, bitte.
But we'll have to see what SK lock in last. I mean, the Anivia kind of makes Olaf nicer because he can just run her down. So we'll see if that's what SK decide to lock in, and it is.
But Olaf's natural counter is a wall.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have flash. I mean, like, what? You can
yeah,
flash
if
the
you wall him off,
you just walk away.
That's true.
Can't.
But I feel like he, like, probably will. You just unlock me there.
I feel like he's gonna phase through it.
No, he's not gonna phase through it. But I feel like either the wall is gonna stop him from engaging.
Und Orlando danke für den Sieg außerdem.
You're right.
Also guck mal, die Sache ist, guck mal, die Sache ist, dieser Draft hier finde ich nicht mal schlecht. No joke, ich finde diesen Draft hier nicht mal verkehrt. Glaube ich, dass SK mit diesem Draft gewinnen kann? Auf gar keinen Fall. Hölle nein. Aber der Draft an sich ist okay.
Late game, crazy Olaf angles, and it's going to be something SK are going to have to contend with as we get ready to load into this one. Poke still feels like the story from SK, and G2 certainly have added a lot to their damage profile, but not a lot of it is in the early game, Jack.
No, their early game of G2 is relatively tame. I think we'll mostly be looking at top lane for early game aggression. Bot lane is really just going to be a farm fest. Both laners should go teleport and just be completely chilling down there. And then I think when you go into the later stages of this game,
ja,
SK,
haben Wunder-Interview heute nach der SK-Series und ein Grabs-Interview nach der Next-Series. Spannend.
And just run them down all as 5. So if they can get that fight started off and make it fast, that's how G2 really want to play.
All right, here we are loading into this first game. Action on the top side, the expectation for G2, a ton of poke from the side of SK. Let's see if they can maybe take control early on.
Wenn da was Olaf Counter-Tanky-mäßig ist, Bruder, du musst nochmal den Satz bitte...
Yeah, both supports recognizing this top
nochmal versuchen den Satz.
Volatile. Mickey wants to put a ward for Wunder so that Broken Blade can't play in those bushes.
Und alle 5 Old G2 Boys da auch.
Reads the play, starts sweeper. So now Broken Blade can have a much more chill matchup where he's just playing with that bushes, and that's really key when you're playing this melee into range matchup, that you can always walk into the bushes to avoid taking damage.
And Mickey looks like canceling the recall just in case LeBron did.
JCU schlecht, weil der Olaf wurde into Jace reingepickt. Also war blind pick Jace.
There will be a little bit late to lane. Probably doesn't matter.
But I'm gonna lose a few minions of XP, but yeah, as Hansama was pushing as well, probably I don't think he'll lose. I think both supports will be pretty equal on XP. Actually, Lebrov is gonna lose more. I don't know if I like Hansama pushing this much, because now Lebrov is going to get none of these first waves, while Mickey's going to get the first 3 minutes, but Lebrov doesn't care. He doesn't want to be in lane.
And I respect. Sometimes I think we're playing League of Legends, and sometimes we're playing which support can stay level 1 the longest. And pro supports are really good at Alvaro is
minute 5.
Alvaro currently the record holder. But LeBron and Mickey might be trying for a play of their own, although based on the fact that they're still in lane at level 1, I think they'll get level 2.
Someone needs to be a bit careful here.
Hook in, nicely placed. Tonk through, certainly solid for LeBron, but again, still only level 1. So doesn't have the sword to be able to pull through and get those extra empowered auto attacks.
Yeah, both laners just pushing each other in. They're going to farm up. It's a first strike from Yopa, recognizing that the lane is very chill. So he just goes for the gold generation and for some good scaling as well. And I'd be curious to see how much gold he's able to generate with that. We don't really see first strike that often anymore, I feel like.
I think I just saw +10. Not sure if that was a minion from Hansama. Caps sees his old teammate. Quick wave.
Yeah, make you want to say hi.
Hi. Let's get it. You know.
We have a gank.
Game over.
We have a gank. Top side. Wunder. Very quickly running away from the Scorpion, but a flash in from Skumon. Definitely nice. The axe to come through the undertow. Wunder nowhere to go. First blood for G2. You said action on the top side. We're seeing it now, and now Skeens is going to try to 2v1. That was not good, my guy.
Broken Blade thought he had the damage to take down Skeens, so Skeens just barely gets out. I think Skeens didn't think they quite were able to take him down, so he has to waste his flash. But I was surprised as well that Skeens was able to find that angle. It looked like Wunder was fine. I think Wunder felt completely fine, but they had the damage. And Wunder ends up going down, has to burn the TP as well. Broken Blade needs to crash this wave. He doesn't have to teleport himself.
Ja, auf Level 6 hat Broken Blade wieder Ghost, aber dann ist Wunder tot.
The wave crashes, but Wunder actually was able to hold it, and Skeens in the area.
Yeah, Skeens, though, remember, lost flash in the previous play and is standing on a ward. So there's not really much nowadays. Broken Blade without TP. Wunder did use his TP to get back to lane. Based on the wave, I think he should be fine coming back, but what did we say? We said in Pickban, hey, top lane's the only place we're going to see action. You're right on the money, Jack. The problem is, that was where SK were supposed to be winning in lane, no? That was supposed to be the kind of nice point for them.
You could see that Wunder had the CS lead, but in the fights, in the skirmishes, that's where Olaf is always going to come on top. Plus with jungle gap, Skumon was there first. So.
As another bit of unfortunate news for the side of SK, Slowq did lose his passive off camera during that top lane fight. So no egg for this bird in the mid lane.
No eggs for breakfast today.
Sure. Bit weird in the context of the game to say it like that, but I know what you mean. Yeah. You know, barbaric. That's a fully sentient entity, but you do you, Jay.
Okay, Vitamin A bis Z, alles
in a
drin,
very
super.
slow-paced game, which is the exact opposite of what I thought we would get. So the production is coming in clutch.
Oh my god.
I'd rather go bald than play mage's bot.
Bald, Yopa.
Yeah, shout out to Basil for doing these interviews, and shout out to Yopa for a large collection of completely unhinged statements, both in interviews and on Twitter.
Shout out to Yopa for going bald.
Yeah, we're gonna see the hairline receding already before our eyes. Bot lane also forced to retreat here.
Great trades from G2. I don't think they can convert it into much, since Six can just clear under towers. Skumon's in the top side, so not going to be any jungle pressure.
Good. Flick back onto Lebrov, solid. Gets him low, but they don't really have the follow-up. No HP there. Alpha's still so far away from level 6, or it might have been a Mega Inferno Bomb angle.
Altsama had more mana here. I think they could look for a dive and trade 1-for-1. They might still look for it.
And this is a bit of a toughie.
I mean, Lebrov is going to die if they go for it, but if they can kill Yopa, it's worth.
Taunt through, doesn't quite get the flash. Knockback is there. Lebrov is going to die. Oh, so is Mickey. Hansama debating.
Oh, he's a pussy.
Doesn't go for it. He was thinking about it, but I think he needed 4 auto attacks to kill Yopa. It's 3 or 4. If he could kill him in 2, then he could just do auto attack W, insta reset, right? And then flash out, but decided not to go for it. Ends up being a 1-for-1. And Yopa had to base before Hansama crashed the wave, so that does mean that Yopa is going to lose out on a minion wave. But now Skumon is behind Wunder. Wunder still no flash.
Sure. To the skies. Remember blow back. Trying to buy time for the rest of his team to get there. Keep your eyes on that mini-map. Jungle support on the way. Mickey and Scheme trying to come in, as is Lebrov. Full 3v3, but SK behind the play thus far. Wunder going to die before the play even starts. Now Schemes and Mickey, just spectators to their top laner's demise. And this is going from uncomfortable to bad quite quickly, Jack.
I feel like Wunder could have lived. Like, he could have just paths to the right with the Storm Raider Surge proc, but instead, I think he thought that if he buys enough time, Skeens and Mickey can come, but...
And they did. They did just come, in time for the funeral.
To spectate, yeah.
Yes.
But also, I think the fact that BB hit level 6 was kind of the spell the demise, because then you can't, like, kite him out at all, right? You just press that Ragnarok. Didn't even need to use it, but that was what I feel like when I saw that flipped the play. And that doesn't mean that Broken Blade is now starting 2-0 on this Olaf that you already pointed out that he's 9-2 on. That's not the start that SK was looking for.
No, this is pretty terrible. Look, we talked about the G2 composition. The only strong point for them, this Olaf, really having to bear that damage burden as we wait for both the Sivir and the Victor to
Wunder war okay gestern.
compared to their counterparts.
Well, it's pretty chill if you're
Game 3 Wunder war solid, Game 1 war okay. Game 2 Wunder war auch solid.
Then the fight is pretty much won from that.
That's a good contribution.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like very rarely do AD carries just.
Und gegen wen haben die gespielt? Gegen Giant X.
I feel like that was like old
Giant X is
Ash,
horrible.
maybe, or was that the meme, or was it old Sivir that was the meme? Just press R. It was just press R comp, no? Or Sivir?
Sivir. I mean, kind of.
Like
honestly,
double lift, I think.
honestly, Ash meta too.
Yeah.
Just hit the arrow. It's fine. You don't do any damage anyway. You don't need to be in that fight.
I remember double left coin the just press R comp.
Low Q.
Yeah,
I don't know if that egg is back up, but Caps has an ulti.
It is
Coming out,
the
taking-
egg. He's got the egg.
The Deathfire. Deathfire has stopped touching him. There is no more touching happening. He will be recalling now. The audience wants to be excited for things. I appreciate it. You guys are on the edge of your seat or half asleep. It's unclear to me, but we're all eager for that big fight. We kind of hyped this up. G2 2019
G2 have a
reunion.
flank on both here.
Grudge match. Grudge match? No.
We're not gonna fight on bot. No.
Skeens. Play here. Yopo flanking. Hansama has pressed R. He's using it to escape.
Caps tot. Oh, wow, der Q war zu spät.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a wall has been leveraged. Caps cannot get around it, but the gravity field is good too. Skeens, ward hopping forward. Sonic wave connects. Caps still getting into the Scuttlecraft movement speed.
Muss tot sein. Kann flash. Tot.
Mickey moving into cover to make sure Skeens can get this kill. No way for Lebrov to contest. And that Skeens getting one back.
Really nice gank from Skeens there. Caps flashed the initial Q from Skeens, but wasn't able to get out. Skeens could look for a dive on top. I think they should have the damage. Wunder does have flash though. If he's able to flash like a crucial CC and buy time, Well, he already cleared most of the wave.
Oh, Axe missing is big. Getting a chunk on Broken Blade as well.
Really good defensive moves there from Wunder. Denies any sense of a dive. If he wasn't able to clear the wave and the wave got under tower, easily Skewmon and Broken Blade could just one-shot him there, but defends that well. And it's a Dragon for
Hard hit in dem Game. Well, Protoplasm wurde ziemlich hart genervt als First Item. Muss man sagen. Also ich finde, man kann wieder einen guten Case machen für Hard
Drake for SK, look, scaling. Again, just really easy to see how the Sivir comp wins as we get later in the game, Sivir Olaf. But one of the ways that
Q evolved als erstes,
is starting this dragon stacking. It's a pretty late Drake, so it's not like we're rushing.
Wie sieht's aus? Well, es sieht furchtbar aus erstmal.
Chemtech off the table. You have some pretty potent combat souls available.
And as well, Schemes this game, if we want to look at like win cons for SK, he has a lot of lanes that he can go to. I think top lane is the hardest, because Wunder doesn't really have anything to set him up, and Broken Blade always has the Ragnarok. But in mid lane, right, if SoloQ gets a good wall, in bot lane if Mickey gets a good hook, and that I think he has easier tools to access than Skewmon has. So
Ja, Torch of Ziggs ist interessant. Am tanky Gegner-Team.
Towards that mid lane, and Cap still does have no flash, while SoloQ has his, so that could be something to look out for. It feels like Caps is a player that can often get caught
nice
like
wall
this.
from SoloQ into an immediate hook fall. SoloQ trying to get out from that gravity field as the Arcane Storm has been brought out. Caps locked up, but good coverage coming in from Skewmon and Lebrov. Caps able to walk away with his life. As good as the initial play is, there's just not quite enough damage there yet. Top lane trading, Wunder flashing away. Broken Blade getting that flash though with just a ghost and an ulti. So still not a bad deal for the G2 top laner.
Yeah, Broken Blade happy about that. He was thinking about flashing in to try to make the kill happen, but I think it would have been a 1-for-1, and he doesn't want to burn his flash just for that. Well, all of SK's support in general are here to help cover for Wunder. Skewmon's in the area though, so should dissuade any sort of dive possibility for SK. Although Broken Blade needs to be careful. He dies very fast here.
He does. A few lands from Schemes. Broken Blade is a dead man. Even the Skarner can't get here in time. Nice conversion coming in from Broken
Blade. Das war an sich eigentlich ein ganz geiler Flash von BB, right? Er stirbt aber.
But the Heartsteel is there for Skewmon. Make sure he gets one in return. SoloQ has TP'd, matched by Hansama now. Complete fist fight on the top side.
Yeah, TP for TP.
Wenn der Jace einigermaßen gut im Game ist,
actually TP'd into the mid lane.
Ist es machbar.
That out. Not gonna be able to pick up any plates because Caps is already there.
Die Jungler, was sind die besten Jungler dafür? Nocturne.
Overall, I think both sides feeling fine about that. Slightly advantageous for SK, especially with the fact that Broken Blade, I think he had a shutdown on the 2-0 Olaf.
And normally, look, at this point, we'd just be talking about next objectives in a slow game like this. It's 2 minutes to Drake stacking, etc. But a lot of plays being made as Lebrov finds SoloQ. And SoloQ finally has the Roa, but still lacking in the damage department. Needs a lot of time before he can get through those health bars.
So does Hansama though. As you can see, it's really hard for him to have any intention to even reach the Anevia before.
It's weird because we're used to like the tank top laners being the wet noodle fight, but yeah,
it's like the
Anevia, Sivir. I mean, what do you guys want? Like Season 1 champs.
That's true. Nice wall there. Cancel the taunt.
SoloQ. Good start.
I like how
Casio
little
game
things are happening when that's what we're pointing out, you know? But
look,
I mean, it's a slow game.
Erneut, die SK-Comp muss fairerweise.
Both sides, I think they want to play for the Drake that's spawning.
Die SK-Comp muss fairerweise, Entschuldigung, die G2-Comp muss fairerweise irgendwie einen Engage finden und das ist nicht so leicht. Ansonsten werden sie outranged, right?
Especially for G2 with how tanky their lineup is. And would dissuade that SK Dragon stacking, as now both ADCs have just started going to mid lane quite early on in the game. That kind of was started with the initial top play as they already left bot lane. Easier to just rotate to mid and start controlling the game that way. And it's still Hansama that has like mostly control through the mid lane. Wow, it's a 0 gold lead. That's very rarely you see. They're exactly Jinxed it. Now it's 1. How did he get 1?
What?
It's on ADC.
How did he get 1 gold lead?
It was 0.
First right. Uneven number. Schemes locked up. Damage coming through. He's just gonna kick through him. A nice kick for the disengage. Wow. Another bit of a nothing burger. We're really lining it up here. We're setting it up. This is a diet game of League of Legends. You know, we're counting calories on this one. Don't want to be too aggressive here. Jack, I have to know from your perspective as a player.
Yeah.
These mid games where you're playing Sivir and you're farming.
You're very happy. I'd be very happy. If
no,
I'm
but
on
yeah. But like, my question is it? When we watch games like this, I'm speaking for myself and the audience here, maybe the co-streamers as well. It's like, you know, you're kind of like, all right, let's get to 4 items so you can do the thing.
Yeah.
Is it stressful as an AD carry in-game? Like, are you sweating on every wave? Like, they might dive me here. I'm racing against the clock, like Jack Bauer 24 to get my 4 items so I can be relevant in this game? Or is it just like, are you also kind of like brain off, just farming?
Not brain off. For me, it depends if I'm ahead in farm or behind in farm. Maybe this is the ego of an ADC, but if I'm ahead, then I think we're winning. And if I'm behind, then I think I'm losing. So Hans Sama now, I'd be like,
oh, guys, it's
Ich finde die Position nicht sehr leicht für G2 hier.
lead, and the fact that he lost that now, I would feel a bit bad about that.
Okay, all right. So it's the little things that are going to haunt you in,
Yeah,
in these trading wave kind of games.
Well, at the end of the day, when the game is so close, the smallest leads matter more and more, right?
Sure.
Wie ist hier die Stimmung, wenn Fnatic-Spiel verliert? Darüber denke ich nicht nach.
A lot of posturing here. G2 clearly aware of the potential dragon stacking concern. Broken Blade.
Mir wurden nur gute Dinge gesagt. Ich erwarte Großes. Ich erwarte zumindest mal Akzeptables.
Right in their backline if they don't do anything else. Mickey forced to flash over the wall and escape. Very positive trade for G2.
Das sind ein bunch of pussies, oder?
You mentioned in draft, Jack, are doing their job. Partially because Wunder doesn't do a ton of damage yet, but also Hansama didn't get hit by that shock blast, so I'd say mission accomplished.
Yopa needs to be careful.
Lock up. Hansama, good damage to come through. Nice satchel to try and escape. Both Yop and Hansama really low, but on the hunt and the heal. More than enough movement speed. Good burst damage coming through, but that flash not doing much of anything as the stand united ensures that there's no follow-up angle for Skeens. And Skumon in the meantime gets the Drake. So really everything going in favor of G2 on that play.
Yeah, Labrov might have gotten an assist, but that was a solo kill from Broken Blade. Just runs down Wunder. Broken Blade, Skeens got spotted there by Labrov basing, so he's going to be fine. But some nice proactive plays across the board. They tried to go into Yopa,
Also,
Wunder as well, and they get the Dragon. It feels like G2 are the ones making plays everywhere. So we watch this.
also ich sage, guck mal, mir wurde gestern halt wieder auf Fallhöhe gegeben, ne? Das ist das Scheißproblem. Mir wurde gestern gesagt, dass ein bestimmter Jungler, dessen Namen ich nicht nennen werde, ein bestimmtes anderes LEC-Team, dessen Namen ich auch nicht nennen werde, komplett geknallt hat. Und besagter Jungler back sein soll. Genauer Wortlaut. Jungler-Name ist back. Das war gestern die Aussage. Ja. Das ist ein Problem. Hätte mein Gegenüber mal die Fresse gehalten. So. Weil jetzt erwarte ich tatsächlich. Heißt mit bürgerlichen Namen Ivan? Ja, also das ist ein bisschen zu indiskret. Das ist mir jetzt tatsächlich ein bisschen zu indiskret. Kann ich nicht beantworten.
SK, at least getting their counterpunch, getting that map play, still behind a gold, but the Herald will at some point.
Weil ich einfach mal Fnatic Jerseys. Weiß gar nicht, ob ich es gewaschen habe nach den letzten. Naja, ist ja egal. Second Trap with all in. So second trap is good.
Now recalling in the bush, wanted to try to make a play happen there. But Broken Blade has all the wards, so he's completely fine. So the game has stabilized a bit again. 3 minutes until the next dragon. Both sides are just going to be farming up. Hansama wanting to get that Infinity Edge. I think once, especially like once Hansama gets 4 items, that's when this becomes a really nice Sivir game. The only thing is Hansama is pretty reliant on his front line to create space for him, since he's up against so many long-range carries.
Das war mies in von Caps. Yeah.
Hands through this entire game, and Caps cannot make it out of the Glacial Storm, so will finally fall. Now that Roa started stacking up and there's a bit more AP, a bit more levels for slowQ, he's really starting to hurt.
And I mentioned that Caps could be the weak link here, that it's easy for him to get caught against the CC of slowQ. He's now 0-3-0.
Wird nichts gegönnt, außer abgesehen von BLG, ja, oder? Game 5 MSI verlieren war richtig geil Experience auf jeden Fall.
Every other lane is winning and doing well. Now SK can push in this mid lane. They can maybe get the tower here.
Waiting for Murado. A little bit out of range. Ooh.
Yopa didn't get the... He tried to activate the satchel as soon as the Herald charged, but didn't quite have the damage. But it's a matter of time, and he's gonna get that tower anyways.
Also ich sag's euch, technisch, das einzige Problem ist dieser Olaf. Der ist zwar ein Riesenproblem, aber... Hey. You never know.
Not one that is too costly. As the gold is now very close. Yes, pretty much because Caps is 0-3 currently. Mickey's gonna hook his way out of this one. Hansama chasing a bit, and at 1.5 items, and the half being a BF sword, he is doing a pretty good amount of damage. And I will say this is a strategy used against G2 for many, many years. Even when Mickey was there, is just camp Caps, just murder Caps over and over and over again. Skumon this time around is just making sure that his mid laner can push out and knock down this tier 1 tower, get some more gold back in his pocket.
One thing that I feel like makes Caps really scary is that most other players, if you start them off badly, like if this was any other mid laner in the league and I see them starting out 0-3-0, I think they're going to be useless for the rest of the game. But I think in this game,
Trundle
let's
Band
see,
einfach
but I
nicht
think
Support
Caps
gehabt.
will still be really useful in the fights and just come.
Wo hättest du den Trundle gerne gehabt?
Caps feels inevitable, especially in Europe, as a player that will just be useful no matter how the game state is. But that also does lead him sometimes being a bit pokey, but Broken Blade going really deep here.
Definitely going really far forward. The Brav immediately with Stand United. Taunt back to try and disengage the play. Broken Blade with no ulti is quite vulnerable. Both sides going to back
Können wir
off.
es gar nicht E-Range erhöhen?
Big
Nein.
investment there though. Ragnarok and the Stand United should be down for the Drake.
Dann gegen Olaf's ganz relativ normal. Die sind nur 1-2 Pick.
Yeah, just interesting thing about this game. We think about G2 as this, you know, these titans of the league, but reminder that this is also some of our oldest, most veteran players playing this game. Mickey X just passed Hillisang for second most, and he's 10 games behind Caps. He'd be tied, but he kept missing playoffs there for a little while. Yankos, Wunder, so many people on that list, so many legendary names. That's part of the reason why we always talk about the history of these teams, sometimes over the present. And that is mostly right now because the present is a very close, and I will say surprisingly close game of League of Legends. But if you told me SK and G2 were close, I would think 30 kills at 20 minutes, not 10.
Do you know something else that's surprising?
What's that?
Stand United's cooldown. It's 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's
even
long.
with CDR.
It's
that's
a
crazy.
global, bro.
That is true. That is true. But he will not have it up for the Drake fight. But Broken Blade does have the Ragnarok. Doesn't want to contest on Sama.
Force backwards. Wonder using the acceleration gate. Coming in with it to the skies. Ton of burst damage. And now priority access to that Cloud Drake.
Yeah, G2 are dropping it. They're pushing in top. They want to maybe
Das kann even Poppy wie geblockt.
get the
Nee.
tier 1, but I don't think they can get the tier 2. Just get a deep push on Broken Blade.
Glaube, also
I think SK
ziemlich
can be
nicht.
pretty
Nein.
happy with this, especially with the fact that they got Hansama's flash as well. So now with Nash up and available, if they're able to get a good insect from Skeens or get a good wall from solo queue and take Hansama down, they could easily start the Nash as now Yopa gets the mid tower.
Evening out the gold. Keeping things close. Next big objectives. I mean, again, the ticking time bomb is the scaling Sivir, now at 2.5 items, presumably working towards Flicker Blades next. Caps as well.
Bei meiner ist die Sieger kein Problem.
Victor
Also
is
nicht
that
das größte Problem,
inevitable
das größte Problem ist der
damage
Olaf
source.
auf jeden
Also
Fall.
Caps is Victor, as you highlighted. In Broken Blade, again, very similar story where if he's ever in a good position in a team fight, we've just seen the damage that this champion can do, right? Like, how many Doran games did we see where this guy did nothing, and then suddenly he has 4 items and he's winning an entire team fight single-handedly?
Yeah. Can do so much in the team fights later on. And Caps is 0-3-0, but he's pretty much equal. Like, it's a 200 gold difference. Not much of anything. So when we go into the next team fight, I think you can... It's really going to come down to the execution. Can SK poke out G2 before the fight begins? Or does G2 just land the initial engage, have Skewmond with a Great Impale or Broken Blade with a flank before that poke comes down?
We'll see. Of course, Baron, much more on the table for G2 than it is for SK, just based on compositions and who can actually kill it quickly. The Olaf and Sivir doing a decent amount of damage. Anivia ulti's decent. There's a bit of fighting around the big purple worm. And Broken Blade going all in, looking to Ragnarok his way through Wunder, but Wunder able to flash away. And as the ulti stalls out, the wall just a bit short. And you were right, Jack. It's either completely broken or does nothing.
Wall musst du hitten. Flash raus bei Olaf ist so ein geiles Tool für den nächsten Teamfight.
I think if Slowkey wasn't there,
Die Wall muss hitten.
to chase down Wunder, he had the flash as well. So nice by Slowkey to save his top laner, but you can see how dominant Broken Blade is in the side lane.
Also, again, to be fair, like, look, Caps is pretty scary. Oh. Wow, production. Absolute killer. This was not clear on the content. Caps versus rookies, 75-26. Why we included Caps versus rookie feels like a stray,
Brutaler Vergleich.
but an important clarification.
We'll see if Slowkey is a rookie.
If he's
Or
literally
rookie.
the player, or yes. What? I'm still flabbergasted, production. That was out of pocket, but it's like they predicted that we would need the content in the context of this game.
That's true. I feel like this is a classic though. Like G2 versus SK is kind of like, you don't know who's going to win up until like 35 minutes.
That's true. We've seen a lot of random SK upsets versus G2 over the years. I don't remember most of them, but I know it's happened at least once.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. It's now Schemes lurking, waiting in the darkness. Wunder versus Caps. Brothers fighting. Stand United up and available. Leeson getting pounded into the wall. Taunt Flash coming in for LeBron. Wunder taken out. They were trying to bully Caps, but this time his boys were there.
Wunder, mein Schatz, wie machen wir es?
G2, they send the numbers.
Was soll ich dich denn nachher fragen?
Can they transition it into anything more? That's the question.
Och Mann, ne.
It doesn't look like it. As both the support and jungle recall, Caps will be able to push one more wave to get a deep
Was
push.
soll ich dir denn nach dem Interview fragen? Das ist doch scheiße.
Mind of his own. Oh, there's the wall. Well, that's a good wall. That stopped him from the play.
Close the door on him. Still can't walk into him, though. You have to be really careful about Olaf. He's a sneaky guy.
That's true.
Turns back on you with the Ragnarok, and suddenly you're dead. Broken Blade lingering for quite some time. It still feels like G2 are really comfortable on the map, and I think a lot of that is Broken Blade's pressure in the side lane. Olaf, a champion who has to be respected, but with neither side particularly keen to start Baron, I think we're looking 1 minute and 30 seconds till that third Drake for SK. But fighting for mid prio isn't super easy right now because you can see Lebrov hovering off to the side, Caps ready to group mid, and the SK members are going to be forced to clean up some of these side waves.
Cloud Soul this game for G2 would be so phenomenal. Like Olaf ultimate, Sivir ult, the whole game plan is to run them down. So it's the best ultimate that they could have gotten this game. So if they're able to start that Drake stacking, that's a really easy win con for them. Although at the same time, it's a good Drake for SK as well, since they want to avoid G2 running them down, right? So if you have the movement speed, then you can be the one kiting and poking. As G2 have full position now, still 45 seconds to go before the objective spawns though, and BB is top, has the TP. But we'll see if anybody on SK wants to answer or if they just decide to try to make use of this slight numbers advantage in mid lane. They have to wait for Yopa though.
Very tame, very controlled game. Mickey schemes the playmakers now for SK in this game state is Wunder sent them to the top side to try to hold the wave.
Und laufen die nicht mit runter?
G2 on the bottom side of the map.
Das macht Lebrov da. Junge, die Walls von Slowq sind insanely criminal.
Ulti goes completely wide from Yapa, and now there's a raging Viking
insanely criminal.
Ripping through his health bar. He just wanted to have a pool party, but it's absolutely not happening. Broken Blade, another wall to delay the push, but G2 with a nice quick fight to ensure their control over this Drake.
And Broken Blade, he came out of nowhere with a steel chair. Takes down Yopa. Yopa tries to flash away. He tries to get away, but there's nowhere to run against this Olaf. As we watch it back. And it starts off with SK. They want to reclaim the territory. They want to get it back. And I think LeBron, he wanted more with this taunt. Wanted to get up to Yopa. He wasn't able to do so, but they don't have the damage to take him down. They eventually do so, but it takes so long that G2 is able to trade it with skins, and then Broken Blade is here, and the fight's already decided.
And you can see Slowq and Wunder just had such a hard time contributing to that fight. And there is enough damage now for Caps' ulti to get those quick resets. Skeen's not super tanky right now, working towards the Death Dance. Might help a bit, but we just went from 1,000, about 2,000 gold lead from a couple side lane players from G2 to 4,000 in their favor. And match Drakes. Mickey trying to swing things back a little bit, at least punish LeBron. Nivea, not the best follow-up champion in the extended play, however, it might be enough. One more staggering blow and another second here.
Geist, der darf nicht leben.
Wunder on the way in. Lebrov will finally fall.
A slow death for Lebrov, as he got walled, what, twice there and hooked 3 times.
I will say, when your support lives that long, I think the game is in a pretty good state.
That's true. To be fair, though, Slowq went Seraph's Embrace and Rotophagus and Swifty Boost.
Oh mein Gott, er geht für den... Oh mein Gott, er geht für den Kackstuhl-Bild auf Anivia. Ach du Scheiße.
He has more HP than AP.
That is very true. His mana HP status. Bro thinks he's Rise. I don't know what's happening here. I think it's fine build, but you know, would like a little bit more damage, I think, especially for the beefy front line. They really lack that percentage HP because it's also Black File Church. They don't have a Leandries on the team.
Yopa is like compensating though. He's going full damage with the Shadow Flame, now Rabbit on third.
He built tier and stopped there. He said, I don't need that shield, which I think is fair because if anyone ever gets on top of him, he's dead anyway.
Normale Bild, ne, ich hasse den Bild. Ich mag Rot into Malignant so viel mehr.
Battle for the red buff, going in favor of Skeens. It's the little fights, the baby steps for SK to get back into this game.
Need to win the small ones before you win the big ones.
It's true. Oh, it's not Pool Party 6.
It's one of the...
Ist gebufft das Bastion Breaker?
It's the...
Ungefähr.
The Halloween one or something?
Oh. Ist gebufft, das Item.
Let us know. Which 6 are we looking at right now?
I think it's like Trick or Treat or something. No, I'm wrong.
I've asked, I confirm. Production are on it. It's a slow game. They have time. They have the bandwidth, the resources. Wunder gonna have to flash over this wall. Nice angle coming in from Skewmon. Broken Blade might have an axe to kick this one off, but he does have an ulti. The chase now coming in. Mickey, a dead man walking quick. Ulti trying to make it over the wall, distracting Hansama as he cues out. Spider-Knot praying for a brand new day. There's not gonna happen though. He's about to die. G2 keeping the fight going. Good ulti across the top, but again, only connecting on LeBron. In goes Skis, his body, telling him yes, his mind, telling him yes, but now he's gonna be saying hell no, because it's Caps on the flank.
Protoplasm Harness wurde teurer gemacht. Die Initial HP ist runter und die Scaling HP ist runter. Oder das Healing ist runter, glaube
ich. SK, they got away. I don't think they'll lose the Nash just yet, but G2 are in firm control of this game. So they're able to take down 2. Maybe they will go for the Nash after all.
Die Nivea Wards sind absurd schlecht. By the way.
So this Nash actually goes down pretty damn fast. And it's a Nasher for G2, a 5,000 gold lead. We watch the replay of this fight. It starts off with Skewmon trying to get onto Wunder. Wunder has to flash away. And then Mickey gets really split up from the rest of his team here. So he ends up falling, even though it takes a while for Hansama to actually reach him. He's dead no matter what. Not much to do here. And then Caps finds a really long flank to be able to extend this play. As LeBron flashes to bring Skeens further in, but Caps has so much damage. He gets the laser onto 4, he gets the ultimate as well, has the Sonius, and then flashes to kill Wunder. And now with how chunked the rest of SK is as well, G2 can just rotate and pick up the Nash for free.
And really solid play from Caps. Great use. I'm not sure if it was the Seekers or the Zhonya's when that play broke out, but regardless, got a ton of value. Again, was really focused. 0-3 was down in the individual matchup, kept the gold close, and now 3 kills of his own, 1.5k individual lead. Hansama's at 4 items. So he's the late game threat that G2 have been waiting for, although not necessarily one that they needed, as they've been doing just fine without Sivers' full damage profile thus far. So it feels like SK...
Hansama just needs to press the ult.
And then BB
does the rest, I think, especially with Caps if he can provide a little bit of damage as well. I mean, the one thing that SK
That's a 4-item Sivers.
I mean, he's gonna do a lot, but he doesn't need to do a lot.
He doesn't need to, okay. So it can be the Broken Blade show.
It can be.
We'll see. We'll see who gets the...
but SK does have a lot of wave clearing. They have a lot of control. So you can see how they're kind of pestering Skewmon right now. I think if G2 can break an inhibitor, that would be really, really huge for this game and kind of spell SK's demise. Because if they have to constantly be in a side lane clearing those inhibitors, it just opens up the map so much for G2 to snowball other lanes.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna highlight that item right there, because I don't know if you noticed, but that was
kind of highlighted 3 items.
Well, Kanik Rookern is the one I'm talking about right now. I don't know if you noticed, but magic resistance when Mickey lands that hook and Yappa and Slowq do literally 0 damage. Great. Now, presumably this blasting wand is going to turn into some kind of greater.
Pushen 3-1 zumindest mal. Okay, Victor based Speed.
Skewmon is pretty unkillable.
Super respected, okay.
So it's tough for SK. They can clear the waves, they can kill the minions, but killing G2's front line is tough. Luckily, G2's front line is not here. Broken Blade going to try to 1v5. Hansama pushed hard. It might not be enough though. Broken Blade still living. Gets burnt to a crisp by the Ignite. And Skeens is going right back in. The front line has finally arrived, but it might be too little too late. Now, that said, Skewmon is officially unkillable. Let's see how long it takes. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. The 80 damage is here. Will it be enough? Yes, it will be. Skewmon will finally fall.
Nochmal 800 Gold für Wunder.
There for the side of SK to finish up that kill.
And it's a pretty big throw from G2, as SK should be able to pick up this dragon now as well. And
ja, der Drake mit Bastion Back auch.
Although Hansama and Lebrov want to look for the cheese. Skeens face checks.
Quick taunt. Hop back to Mickey. Getting low, does have access to the GA. Hansama could be in trouble. Nice hook to interrupt, but a GA proc, that's devastating. Lebrov now looking for the angle and the setup. Yappa on the way and flashback from Skeen. Sonic Wave connects. Resonating strike ready to come through. Good hook from Mickey.
Was macht Hansi da?
Lebrov, and now it's Hansama trapped in the pit. A 1v1 with the dragon. Ziggs ulti across the top, burning his bell shield. Now Hansama's forced to flash away as Caps continues to poke. Mickey's still going forward. No one is here to back him up. It's a one-way trip, but he's happy to take someone with him as SK continue to set their sights on the Cloud Drake. G2 might have gotten that in him in the top lane, but they lost a ton in the process.
It's a huge play for SK. It's 4-4-1, and they get the...
Wer diese Anivia nicht so unglaublich useless, ne?
Evaporating so much of the gold lead that G2 had built up with this Nash. It's now 3,000 gold in 30 minutes. Pretty much nothing. It's an equal game, and SK have brought it back. The only thing, as you said, Dracos, is that top lane inhibitor that I have to deal with later on. But I really love this flank from Mickey. It's just G2 are trying to do a little bit too much at once. They have Shen in mid lane, Victor in top lane. Skarner's not quite near his carries either, so it's a really easy line of approach for SK to look to punish here. And even though Hansama respects Broken Blade and Skewmon, yeah, they're tanky. They're very tanky.
Also jetzt hat Bibi kein Flash. Es ist sehr, also es sollte jetzt sehr schwer sein, Bibi zu treffen.
And obviously the MR is nice. They have a bit of physical. They have the unending despair, but against 4 champions, nobody really is that tanky, except for a Wunder maybe. As here we see Pretty disastrous start, honestly, when the GA gets burned, but G2 just stick around a little bit too long here, not respecting the TP coming in from Yapa.
I liked what Hansama and LeBron were doing. They were scrappy, right? Trying to find a good play in a bad situation, but with the fact that Yoppa has TP, Wunder has TP, Slowq is able to turn up as well, and Hansama kind of holds this flash for so long that Mickey can walk around and hit him with the hook, and then Slowq is here to follow up, and Skeens lands the resonating strike as well. Pretty disastrous, a lot of shutdowns giving across the board, and the G2 coaching staff not too happy.
Perkz was literally smiling.
Okay, but he was smiling in pain. You know,
okay,
it's
that's
like,
fair.
You know, what is it?
I mean, the thing is, G2 again, the scaling.
The rest of the coaching staff wasn't happy.
Yeah, I think, again, with the Victor, Sivir, Olaf, the path to victory is still really clear for G2. One of the few ways it can slip away from you is something like Elder, right? Is something like conceding a Drake like that. But I think the ball was still in their court. It's still a 3,000 gold lead. They still have this super fed Sivir. And if she doesn't get taken out before that flash is back off cooldown, I think she's still going to be very comfortable playing out these fights. But maybe now we have crossed the threshold where Hansama will need to auto-attack in team fights and cannot just press R.
Yeah, we saw it that fight. He tried to not do a single auto
He
attack, and it did not
ulted
work.
and ran.
Yeah.
BB ran in. The
Didn't
communication was clear.
Yeah.
They wanted to give him the 1v5 montage moment. They did the math.
Dieser 6 ist ein gefährlicher
We'll try
Gegner.
auto attacking, and we'll have to see how that goes for G2.
I have a feeling
Ja, Jess hat LDR.
better results. But League of Legends is a crazy game. You can
I mean,
never be
Yoppa
sure.
didn't have Void Staff. As you said, he had the blasting one. Now he has Void Staff. That makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. Yeah, Skewmon isn't as tanky as he was. Not even close to steal your heart. Can't even be tripling those stacks anytime soon.
Bro, I think Slowq is still not doing too much damage, though.
Yeah. No, I don't.
It's very low damage
This
when they
vegan?
built.
Is that what we're going with these days? It's what's he proto-belting in for, you know? It's not
I
a big
hope he's
burst
not
of
proto-belting
damage.
in.
Kadern von Olaf nur.
He proto-belted out when Broken Blade goes in.
Okay.
Or Skewmon goes in.
Well, you can see the damage numbers are looking pretty good. Now, generally with Poke Champions like Ziggs and Jace, we take...
Also anscheinend geht er jetzt doch sehr raff, wie es aussieht zumindest, aber ich weiß nicht, ob ich das so geil finde.
But not sure how much of that needs to be taken away from Sivir. Both the Victor and the Sivir, though, looking pretty scary.
Yeah, so Broken Blade is still able to push in this bot lane really deep. And G2 are the ones with full Nash control, and they have so much damage on Hansama. He picked up Bloodthirster now, which helps a lot as well with the poke that SK has. I think G2, they could look to just rush down this Nash, especially if they get a... If they're able to force SK deep into their own jungle, they can have just Hansama and Skewmon doing it.
Yep, and this is what we talked about before with the top inhibitor play, right? The overall play looked messy, unnecessary
Junge, jetzt
risk
hat er das
taken
gekauft.
from G2
Ach
with
du
one from
Scheiße.
Mickey. But the reality is, in the grand scheme of things, because that inhibitor
Großer Gott, den hat Seras fertig. Ich meine, dieser Six ist insanely strong, right?
Get to start this objective for free, as SK trying to find a way to get in
Also
here.
wirklich
Don't
insanely
have
strong.
great vision coverage. Maybe just hoping for the 50-50, but now Skewmon coming over the wall, locking up Slowq. A nice W from Caps to split the fight in the meantime, as double TPs are now coming in. Arriving to the fight is Broken Blade, but at low health, his Skeens isn't quite sure if he wants that play. Ulti from Yoppa, not great, only hitting the edge onto Caps, and both sides walking away a bit bruised, but only Mickey has fallen.
Wow, that actually ended up being a 1-for-0 for G2. Broken Blade, I think he TP'd before Wunder, and that's why he was so chunked, I would
Okay,
presume,
ich
as
habe
Wunder
Red Bull,
got
das
to do
bringt
a
alles
lot of
nichts.
damage
AMS
on him.
plus Red Bull.
He arrived in the fight so low that it looked pretty dicey for G2 in the beginning. Now Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. Mickey is still
Also
dead.
eigentlich sollte die Position immer noch fein sein
SK
für
are just
SK.
gonna have to drop it. He
Immer noch
watches
machbar.
fight back. I really like that Mickey just pulls the trigger. He doesn't
Müssen wirklich nur
know
ein wenig
when
besser
he
teamfighten.
matches on, but he just
Ein
knows
klein
when
bisschen
to go
besser.
in. And Slowq making use of the Proto Belt to dodge out on the Impale from Skewmon. As, I think without the stand united, Broken Blade might have just died there when he TP'd in at that HP, but LeBron is able to save his top laner. And avoid anything more.
I think you're getting close to seeing the ideal SK team fight there, but because Mickey went so deep, you see both the Glacial Storm and the Minefield used in a choke point that G2 just don't have to walk into, right? They're just able to ignore both of those cooldowns. So the recipe for success is still there for SK, these big AoE tools, but weren't really able to get anything out of them in that fight, and now very comfortable control over this area around Baron. Now the inhib has respawned for SK, so they're on a bit more even footing as Caps looking for a bit of free poke. The first hook from Mickey is going a bit wide as Slowq tries to land some poke of his own.
Digga, W einfach, wo ist mein Anivia-Ball? Was macht Bibi da?
Again, not hitting onto key members of G2.
Hä?
Mickey's ulti, the depth charge, connects on the caps with the fall damage in there. Now Wunder's just going to burn to death. The Knight's Vow comes in, but it's just too little.
Nice.
It's not nearly enough as G2
Hat der
down Wunder. And SK
Warte, war der nie mehr Ball auf Cooldown, als der reingeflasht ist, oder habe ich... Verstehe ich was nicht, oder?
Broken Blade was just going in and dying. Yet the fight somehow turns again into a 1-for-0 for them as Mickey hooks in.
He hooks in and maybe sent just right back to the fountain. Skewmon debating if he wants to keep dashing forward. Taunt Flash comes in for Lavrov. Flash back from Slowkey was good, but it's Skeens who's gotten the Maws of G2. A G8 procced. Gonna come right back to life. Just
So, also, dieses Game war sehr winnable für SK.
Not the explosive 5v5 we were expecting, but a very G2 favored one as they pretty effortlessly cut through all of SK.
G2 just make magic happen back to back as they find the fight that they were looking for, and now they're gonna pick up another Nasher. And already with an open inhibitor in top, they can look to get triple inhibitor and secure themselves positions for Soul and make this game their own.
You know what I think, Jay? I think Jankos might owe Perkz an apology.
Yeah.
I think the glasses in the game are both going.
Ah ja, okay, da war die eigentlich auf Cooldown. Okay. Ich habe sie nicht gesehen.
The synergy they have there and the fight
Okay, habe sie nicht gesehen.
Go in. I feel like how this fight plays out, it speaks very much in favor of G2's draft. That even when they don't get the perfect engage, they have the damage of caps of Hansama to just play it out. But then after this, I think this is just a mistake from SK where they're like Mickey wants to look for something to make sure that they can't get the Nash, but he can't hook in on Sivir. She has Spell Shield, right? And Hansama's always going to Spell Shield that. And there was no CC to follow it up, so then G2 can just run them down afterwards. Slowq had to invest his flash as well to get away from the Impale, so that's something he doesn't have now going into this Nash defense.
Yeah, and one of the big things we talked about was the poke of this SK comp, but it really hasn't worked out too well, and you can see when they walk into close range, again, Caps, who started the game pretty far behind, essentially one-tap Wunder. Q, auto, death ray, ulti across the dot. Wunder's immediately died. Now, if he gets to start with poke, he might be able to one-shot Caps as well. But Caps has the Zanyas, Caps has the front line, so much of SK's all-in just is pretty meaningless. As you can see, that's like an auto and a half. Mickey already losing half of his HP, even through the Celestial opposition. But again, we have a Ziggs and we have an Anivia. So if there's anything we will have, it is a decent amount of game time. Is Nopa finally connecting on a key target with that
What?
Blade.
Holy fuck.
HP with the death stance. He just barely lives there. That could have been the comeback that SK needed to make a fight happen. Broken Blade, he doesn't have the teleport at least, so he's still going to be out of the fray, but SK used too many tools. They can't make an engage happen. That's 2 inhibitors for G2, and they can recall now and set up bot side and play again, or they can just rotate straight to bot and continue playing the Nash. They're going to take the recall.
Yep, slow, steady, controlled, 90 seconds until Cloud Soul. But you have a 6,000 gold lead and a full build Sivir.
Someone TP towards top side here. I think he wants to go for the red buff. I thought they would just siege bot lane and open up the third inhibitor, but they want to kill Slowq.
Cap chasing, and if they kill Slowq, they probably just end the game here. There's nowhere for him to go. Gets egg, now will die as well. But not dealing nearly enough damage as SK are being zoned away from their own fountain. Minion empowered melee creeps and casters going to be enough here for G2 to break open.
Fand ich sehr winnable für SK Game.
Wunder going
Weiß ich, was ich sonst sagen soll. Fand ich sehr winnable.
But I don't think he would have won it anyway. Skeens desperately trying to hold the line, but despite their best efforts, SK picked apart in the mid and late game. G2 outscaling and outplaying in this game 1.
Ja, super winnable Game. Ich muss mir ganz kurz mal ansetzen und
They
noch
held on for
einen
40 minutes, but in the end, G2 with 2 Baron Nashers able to close it out. They just had better team fighting, especially Broken Blade on that Olaf made a big difference with how strong he was in the early game and in the side lane.
That he did. Enough from us up here. Let's see what the AD has to say about that long game of League of Legends.
I think SK gave us a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, given how things started. Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'm impressed for them.
yeah, like
Was that enough?
we
But
were
still.
kind of saying backstage, like if this was SK last split, this would have been over by 15 minutes, packed up,
Yeah.
like we're already deciding, you know, what we're doing for dinner plans.
Usually I'm not excited about the team losing, but SK, they're buying me. I feel like we haven't seen this for them in a long time. Usually they would just
Yeah.
roll over and die. They would just make it quick. Like just, you know, rip open the band-aid and end the pain. But now I feel like they actually put up a decent fight. 40 minutes against G2, not easy.
They did. Well, that was not enough in the end. And I do want to paint the picture of what you said, although before the game even started. hello, Olaf might go ballistic, so let's lock in. And he did.
Okay. Now, that was after he got 1 kill.
Okay, fair enough.
I wasn't that good at my job, but to be honest, it makes sense. We already saw the Shen at the beginning. BB, I think he's 7-2 overall in this champion. It was great. Honestly, Wunder, they were really out to get in this game because from minute 3, Skewmont was just there every single time. If there was one person to shut down, it was just Jace because the Jace in the Olaf matchup is Jace's favor, but BB made such good use of all of those resources.
I mean, even the position that he found on the map to try and like get in behind the Jace to make sure that Wunder couldn't get comfortable, and then just being a terror in these fights because so much of this fight was coming down to his, like, you know, we heard Jack and Drake was talking about in the cast was that wall positioning that was coming through from the Anivia, but Broken Blade playing well around that positioning, finding those good flash angles, just absolutely tearing people apart. It really defined that kind of early to mid game that was making it difficult for SK.
I'm sorry, but I cannot take it
face is
seriously.
matching now, but like the craziness of BB's face is matching the champion. I love it.
Becoming evil. I don't know which one it is.
Hey, I'm in for the transformation. You know, he has been wholesome and PR trained for way too long. I'm embracing evil BB.
He's a menace, and he was on this champion. And I do want to. I mean, you constantly had an Olaf in your face, but I feel like whatever happened, G2 were like holding a line, making it impossible for SK to play on either side of the map. It was really hard for them to play, even though they had a pretty good composition. So how did G2 get in this situation?
Okay, well, let's bring it up over here so we can talk about it. We got a bunch of stills because SK's team comp is do or die by being there first. Well, if you look in this position, G2 is there first. And with this sort of team comp that they just want to dive all the time, the main person on SK's lineup, the one who's supposed to carry you in this Drake situation, is in the top lane, hitting a tower as a freezy bird, just sitting there. So already this position is just lost. The Olaf is pushing in the Jace on board because Jace at this point was around 0-5 or whatever. So this one is really lost. Now the next one, SK found themselves in a lot better of a position. But what's gonna happen here is that you lose track of a Shen, and usually when you walk in this position and you want to take space, you're maybe thinking the Shen is around here, or the Shen is around here, or he's maybe human warding over here. Victor, you already see him on the bot side. He's already not a factor, but if we roll it out, Shen does something completely incredible and just taunts in 1v3. And pause right now, please. Well, we already saw it, but they just missed the whole wombo combo on him because this was the last place and the last possible play that SK thought the Shen would do. Why would he dive in 1v4, completely getting one shot? SK was ready for a very slow drag when it comes to this situation. They were ready to grind G2 to a halt, fight for that position, but instead, G2 just rips the team fight open out of thin air.
And that's because, like, for SK's comp to work, they want to have this poke come through from the Ziggs, from the Jace. They want to try and make you fight every step of the way. But G2 posted up on the objectives very early, constantly a threat with BB in the side lane so the Jace couldn't be there. And as you say, like, willing to just send it from Lebrov to make sure they couldn't have the plays work. So I really like the way G2 were able to kind of counter what SK were doing alongside so many of these good players.
And honestly, incredibly hard for SK to play this game because even though it made it to 40 minutes and G2 made all of these plays happen, it's just, it felt like even we saw those two situations, even if they play it perfectly, it feels like it would still not be enough.
On that though, I do think there were some mistakes coming through from SK. Like I think Mickey did play it a little bit too fast at moments where he was.
But is that desperation though?
That's right. It might be, but there was moments as well in the early stages, like the 15 to 18 minute mark, where he was still going.
But
for
is
these
that
hooks
just
a little bit
Mickey
sooner.
then?
You know what? How do I argue with that? Yeah, maybe it's just Mickey.
We've talked about what we've seen on the Rift from G2. I want to take you guys backstage actually to what the coaches were feeling, because we're used to seeing desperation on the side of G2 when it comes to what the team is doing. And pay close attention to Romain, to Memento, to Isma, and then you just have Perks laughing. Bear in mind that they just completely ran it down here. The confidence on the side of Perks is what I love here.
Towards the end.
But he's supposed to bring the vibes. Isn't that his whole thing? You know, he wants to bring back those early day vibes. So, yeah.
The vibes are here,
Smile through the pain because he probably had many of those moments in G2 when they were all running it down together and just laughing it off.
You know,
honestly, maybe needed.
Yeah, and they pulled it back together in the end, and that's what matters, leading us to 1-0, opening up the score in this series. But SK gave them a big fight. Let's see what happens next and if they can come back.
Brother, let me try.
Wait, brother. Let us break this instead, brother.
Oh.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Hat wer Empfehlung für eine more Matcha Richtung?
What is this, brother?
Vielleicht da eine Sekunde, Moment. So. Cherry Mochi ist Karos Lieblingsding. Ich weiß nicht, ob es die noch gibt oder ob die ausverkauft ist. Kurz gucken. Ja, der hier ist Karos Lieblings. Das hier ist Karos Lieblingsding. Edition. Der hier. Okay, by the way, fast 20% auf alles. Auf fast alles.
Like a pro and optimize your connection in one tap. Express in game without ISP throttling. Express and shield yourself from DDoS attacks. Express and choose the VPN trusted by gamers everywhere. Express VPN.
20% auf fast alles. Vor allem auf Way. Restock.
Stable, competitive.
Personal Favorites, Cherry White Tea, super.
Unlock free Hextech rewards,
Pink Peach Ring, super.
and more.
Die beiden hier.
Scan to subscribe.
Ich denke, es ist ausverkauft, wa?
In your best man speech, you said my wife is funnier than me.
That's factually correct.
Okay.
Irgendwas fehlt noch. Wo ist Summer Lemon? Ah, Summer Lemon auch super.
It's fine, man.
Jetzt 37%. Summer Lemon, Cherry White Tea und Pink Peach Rings sind meine 3 Faves.
Yeah, but it's gonna.
Abendessen.
There we go. Look at that.
Hähnchen mit Gurke, Paprika und
What are you so worried about?
Tomaten. Immer ganz gut. Oh ja, Infused Gurke ist immer auch sehr lecker. Aber das ist ja 0%. Auch supi. Ja, ist ein bisschen traurig, weil ich fand das Game sehr, sehr winnable für SK. Echt ein bisschen traurig. Richtig, Wassereis, das ist halt auch smart. Wassereis ist auch so eine Go-To-Erfindung. Also jetzt haben wir so eine Outrange und Poke gespielt. Hat nicht funktioniert. Was machen wir jetzt? Ja, 30 Tage muss man beim Giveaway noch nicht mitmachen. Ah ja, ist der Giveaway. Ist umsonst zum Teilnehmen. Ihr müsst einfach mir auf den Socials folgen und bei dem Raffle hier teilnehmen. Ihr könnt auch, wenn ihr eine falsche E-Mail geben wollt, könnt ihr machen. Ihr müsst aber auf der kontaktiert werden können. Das heißt, es kann eine falsche sein, aber ne, ihr müsst es irgendwie aufrufen, das E-Mail-Postfach. Ja, ist umsonst. Erneut, ihr bekommt Entries, indem ihr meinen Socials folgt. Gibt 4 mal 50 Euro. Also 4 Gewinner mit je 50 Euro. Pre-Rabatt. As always. Ich würde mich trotzdem freuen, wenn ihr mit meinem Code einkauft. Bei More. Sachen sind sehr, 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 sehr lecker. Kussi, Kussi. Jetzt kann man kein TikTok oder Instagram hat. Worst Case, einfach einen Account erstellen kurz. Auch nicht in der Welt. Muss gar nicht benutzen.
Okay, sit down, Mickey. Okay, sit down, bro.
Are you getting interested with weapons?
I guess so. Sit down.
Okay, just lift your head on and show the corners and like make fun of him.
That's true, actually, yeah.
What the fuck?
Stand United up and available. Leeson getting pounded
That's
into
slow.
the wall. Taunt blast coming in for LeBron. Wunder
Alter, bin ich schlau. Er ist ein guter, ne?
No flash. I light. I'm looking for get Save the flash, save the fire. We can't follow on this. Follow the plant. We can. Let's get out. Good job. Good job, guys.
Yo, credit to G2 there, but Yopa crossed the line, bro. We don't go after the hairline. We don't go after the hairline. That's
Legit
disrespectful. You can't be doing that.
Are we speaking from?
Shut up, Jack. Welcome back to game 2. SK right at first selection. They choose first pick. G2 choose blue side. So SK get, G2 get the counter pick, etc., etc. Look at that man. He doesn't understand. He's got good genes. Mom and dad both have hair. He doesn't understand what it's like for us out here. It's fine.
It's funny you say that because Perk's literally is wearing jeans.
Fuck's sake.
Boom.
Also mal.
Let's see how they do the draft.
Oh my God. Is it possible for...
Ja, ich sehe das.
We have great anti-synergy.
Well, Unevent
Yeah, we're completely opposite sides of the
Sieht
spectrum.
echt nicht gut aus
The
momentan.
good news is, wherever we are, both sides, completely unprofessional, which I love. So back into the draft, SK had a little bit of a hiccup where their comp that we expected to maybe win early game lost pretty convincingly.
Well,
but they did do a good job of keeping it close. However, the problem with gold advantages in League of Legends is some champs just scale different, some champs scale better, and G2's champs scaled better.
And G2 played better in the team fight. So
Oh,
I think
that's true. That's
there was some skill.
I mean, we didn't need to, like, you know, I don't think we need to kick them all down.
No, but you're kind of making.
Da Barrel Rapper oder Blue Buff. Schnellster Kill ist Blue Buff Start.
Which I
Beides ist aber okay.
I mean, if we want to just hype up Perks,
wo du halt hin willst, ne?
Yeah.
maybe
No,
that's
you're
what,
right.
maybe that's
Beides
what
ist in
Mickey's
Ordnung.
saying.
There was a...
He was like, oh, Perks gap.
Yeah, there was a lot of gaps in that game. But maybe they can shore some of them up in pick and ban. What's going to come out? I would like a little bit of spice here.
I mean,
G2 just played, I don't want to say the most boring comp of all time because Olaf was in the game and that was cool. And they played it well and it was still as exciting as it could be with those champions. But I'd love a little more early game volatility. You know, a little more explosive, high risk.
Ja, aber Early Game Volatility, wenn die Gegner 6 und Ding haben, ist dann auch nicht möglich.
That would be cool. I think the Orianna
To be
is
fair,
still
ist auch nicht möglich.
a question on my mind. I feel like it's weird that both teams ignored it game 1. And I think G2 will just take it away now. It seems like SK just don't prioritize it whatsoever as they decide to go for the Syndra first pick. Cassio is still up and available. That could be an option for Yi2.
Syndra, spicy. I like the Yi2 as well. Orianna, it's like a family sedan. You know, it's a practical choice, not a flashy choice. Good fuel economy. This, on the other hand, ooh, lock it in. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Ist enough trotzdem Patch.
Not so exciting.
Not so exciting. Again,
Still strong
practical,
fighting power,
good,
though.
engage, right?
Yeah.
If I ever see a Karma again, I'll walk off desk. You can solo cast. You got this.
Okay.
But
because there won't be any fighting, so you won't need to
there
play
won't be
by
any fighting. I won't need to play by play. I like melee supports. I'm deeply afraid of returning to enchanters. They bore me. But with Leona locked in, some good proactive engage tools. Really love Leona into Syndra just, again, for the ulti. Almost every other engage champion just gets dunked on.
Der Pick auch gegen Kamel, ne? Natürlich die Idee, oder?
So many of those cooldowns.
G2, do they want to go Cassio, Orianna, or Locke?
Warte von der Skala,
They
ne?
want to go Cassio over. I'm still kind of mind blown that we just really don't like Orianna, but I feel like I've wrapped so much on about it, I kind of need to drop it. But it's just this champion has such high priority normally.
I don't know, I think you should bring it up every time, actually.
Yeah, every single time. So
pick.
Skins could pick Orianna. Right now. Yeah.
Oh, Orianna.
So we'll see what Skins wants to go for.
Alles da für Mickey, oder?
R is going to be the pick here. Just a blind pick for
Habe ich schon
Wunder
Kreatin genommen? Ja,
early on.
danke schön.
Okay, maybe we're looking for a
I think a Wave on 3 for G2.
Also ich denke an alles da hier.
Yeah, this is a bit awkward about them being where they are positioned in the draft. The G2 get this final pick here because they want to just go for a...
Definitely going to be a top pick, I think.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense.
But is it going to be the Vayne?
And weird that G2, I assume it's just because the Syndra is a flex for them, but weird that you would say we're going to blind pick our
Geil gegen Leona,
and then
ist
give
nicht
you
schlecht.
the option to match with a counter pick.
Yeah.
If they had picked something
Dass
else
wir
like
das hier ganz
jungle,
kurz aus dem
mismatch
Ding
Vayne
haben,
the
ne?
next phase,
Real
I'd
gegen
like
Leona
it
ist nicht
more,
schlecht.
Jungle would make a lot more
Problem
sense,
ist
but
nur, du
now
darfst dann
you
nicht
have
3 gegen 3
Brooklyn on
fighten.
Vayne.
Oder 2 gegen 2 gegen 2. Darfst du nicht
Pretty
machen.
easy to play, especially if just SK don't get a lot more range on the rest of their picks, because they'll have to pick like a melee jungler, right? So that's already 3 very low range champions that this Vayne is playing into. So
yeah.
Should be a pretty easy game for BB. Now
Main
I
top
think G2 should target some of the other mages that potentially SK could bring out. Not Orianna, because SK don't seem to want to play Orianna. So Talia maybe could be an option.
Wenn du 5 gegen 5, dann gut, oder wie spätere Skirmishes. Du darfst halt nur nicht Early Game fighten. Also Level 3, 4 Leona wirst du nicht gewinnen, das sowieso.
Look, I'm still bamboozled by this Gnar straight into blind pick Vayne, but I assume there's some amount of cooking coming in for SK there if they're going to opt for this, or they're just very.
Lass doch mal im Midlane nachspielen, das hat richtig gut funktioniert bei Big.
Lose lane. But now, Trundle banned away, trying to limit any potential tank follow-ups, I guess. Also, when you have immobile champions like the Cassio, the pillar can be quite devastating. Lucian now too. We've seen 80 carries when they get picked up. Rob talks about this a lot. Like the Corkis, the Lucians, a lot of these caster kind of spell-heavy 80 carries often seem to be next in line for popularity alongside the mages.
Yeah, and there's a lot of ADCs taken out now. Ezreal, Varus, Lucian, and the Sivir from the last game as well. Not a whole lot of champs that you'd want to play into this potentially Syndra bot. You could also just take the Cassio bot and choose to pick a mid laner on 4. That flex always allows you to do that. I think if Hansama were to go an ADC, it'd probably be the Jhin or the Corki, as you mentioned. Sort of the two realistic picks. I don't think you really want another like carry since you already have the Vaynes, something that provides utility. But at that point, it's like probably you just want to have a mage in bot lane instead. That also provides that utility.
Makes sense, makes sense. What is the angle here? And now normally I get nervous when I see Vayne top. I think she's really strong. But then I'm reminded, once again by our production team, that BB's most recent victory was against so kind of hard to argue with those stats as Hansama covering the Drake for a long period of time, but will once again not give it to us. You tease.
I haven't seen T1 win in the LEC though, and SK is currently undefeated in the LEC.
That's a really good point. That's a good point. They would, yeah. We don't even know where they would stay in the standings.
Das ist gut.
We don't know.
You didn't want to go any further on
no,
that.
I mean,
you're like, the next thing
T1 fans are too scary. I'm not going further.
Like maybe they make playoffs. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're setting up for a pretty nice team fighting composition from the side of SK. Again, though, we are living in the on-paper draft pipe dream world where we ignore laning phase, and it's luck.
Last pick Akali and game over.
It's 0-2 in the.
It's horrible. Last pick Akali, game over.
People that have lost on it. Okay. We'll see if Slowq can break that and finally give this champion
horrible. This
champion has seemed really overpowered. It's been nerfed twice now.
Horrible. Last pick Akali game is lost.
Priority pick in the meta, as it has been banned quite a bit.
Okay, reminder.
Cassio is auch gut into lock, by the way.
It's a little lock visual bug. When he hits you with the Q, the ritual nails, not you, but the players on the map, they are like gonna 50% disappear and look invisible. It's just a spectator bug. It doesn't affect the players in the game. But if Cassio suddenly disappears off your screen, it's 90% the visual bug, 10% likely that Slowq is 10-0 and is one-shotting people. So, you know, just use context clues. You'll figure it out. We'll bring it up again for anyone who forgot. So, no Xerath. Now we have compositions fully locked in. Break it down for me, Jackie boy. What do we...
I mean, I think this LEC is incredibly feast or famine. And the losses that we've seen for LEC thus far, he just kind of died.
Bekommen wir noch ein Verliererinterview? Ich glaube, kann nicht Nein sagen. Ja. Also, mir wurde schon
this champion, if he gets ahead, he finds a roam timer. It's so incredibly strong. And if you get a lead, the snowball potential of this champion is just probably the highest out of any meta champion right now. So I think it's going to revolve a lot around Slowq because in top lane, Wunder is going to be having a really, really rough time up against this Vayne. And Broken Blade also outscales him. I mean, Vayne and Gnar is just like a dream for Vayne because you both outscale and you really win the lane.
Every single thing Gnar does is so easily dodgeable too. It just feels like you're feeding Vayne a montage.
And then on top of that, you go exhaust just to be like, no matter what you do, you can't kill me.
Let's just hope he doesn't go exhaust for the sake of Wunder. You know, give him a little bit of
inside information and he already went exhaust.
Here we are, getting into game 2. G2 Esports versus SK Gaming. SK, a lot of cool things going down, locking in a mid laner that would have not seen a lot of success despite Slowq dominance. But we're going to be looking a decent amount towards the top side of the map, where it's one prehistoric Yordle versus a very angry lady with sunglasses.
And 2 rune choices that we've really not seen in a while. Hail of Blades on Hansama and Hail of Blades on Wunder. And Wunder went cloth armor 4 potions. So he wants to sustain through this vein.
So is there anything you want to tell him?
I mean, the role is a bit easier, so it might fit you better. And I hope you learned a lot of lessons from working with grabs for very many years. And yeah, let's see it in the Rift.
What do you think of his draft so far?
There were some hit or misses, but yeah, it's expected.
All right, and Perks, these two are still playing. Is that a surprise for you?
I mean, I honestly have no idea why is Mickey talking so aggressively. Like, he has not looked good ever since I played with him. Like, generally fall off year after year, falls off harder. So I really hope Mickey just don't like drop 10 bomb today. Generally.
You know what? I love this. I love those.
He's just eating damage for free. Wunder's going to hop.
2v2 off top lane.
Which would normally give him a nice attack speed steroid, but he's hopped out of range.
So far, the 2v2 strategy has not seemed to shut down the Vayne, but at least the Gnar is not dead yet. I don't know, he's not gotten a minion, so I don't think they're too happy with this.
You know what I take solace in?
What?
Knowing that someone...
Ja, aber du musst Top-Lane matchen, ne? Nur ganz kurz. Also er hat zwar noch keinen Creep, aber du musst Top-Lane matchen. Wenn du nicht Top-Lane matchst und ein Support ist da und der andere ist nicht, dann ist es super unplayable für den Gnar. Gedived. Heißt, du musst halt Mickey matchen.
We have to teach you this lesson, old man. In this case, old man is literally every pro player on the planet, but Froxen shaking in his boots. What will we see next?
I feel like Riot personally doesn't mind the lane swaps, so just people complain.
No, I like to personify
imagine
Riot as a single, very angry entity. It's entertaining. Not a collection of completely individual people in the team. No. One single.
Na, ich sage, die Support-Class ist auch nur um 25% reduziert, by the way.
No, let's not go.
Das ist ein kompletter Joke.
A benevolent, kind god. Handsome. Charming. Anyway, League of Legends. Level 1s here for the supports. Again.
Also allein die Penalty ist schon super unserious halt.
For some reason.
Soon they shall be feasting as Mickey gets level 2.
Oh, that one went wrong. Good scatter of the week. Zenith Blade in. Bit of an unfortunate shattering strike there for Mickey.
Yeah, I think more unfortunate LeBron flashing in though into the Hansama, immediately getting stunned by the scatter of the week. Does have the Hex Flash, so...
But you gotta get the jitters out.
That's true.
Corki Halo Blades, you're getting back to Corki, it's a different time.
I do wonder, some supports that I played with, whenever they wasted their flash with Hex Flash, they always said, it's fine, I have Hex Flash now.
Rob is on his own. That shattering strike connected. Rob gonna stun and walk away. Never mind. Forgot it's a Leona. You cannot kill her.
Yeah, not the best here, as Hansama TP'd back in just to find his support. Very low HP, having to recall. If I was him, I would be a bit annoyed.
Based on the early laning phase here, I'm going to ask you to be a lock expert, and it's fine if you don't have a perfect answer for me.
Yeah.
Just based on your experience. Hold that thought. Never mind. People about to die. Hansama, don't check that bush, bro.
Oh.
Do it. Oh, he couldn't help himself. Does manage to get the ward down, but is forced to flash away. We tried to warn him.
That's 2 flashes, though. 2 flashes burned from SK for only Hansama's. So he's saying worth right now. He only lost a few hundred HP as well. So what were you going to ask about Locke?
Win is Locke win. Because right now, based on top lane and mid lane,
maybe at 6 he can win if he dodges the Petrifying Gaze.
Controversial double.
Reaktionszeit von Hans ist gut, ja. Aber
okay, but like it's a melee mid into Cassio. Like, I don't think you're winning a 1v1. I think you're winning when the support and jungle get involved.
I'm just saying, they benched one melee mid enthusiast, and now they're playing a lot of melee mids.
That's true.
This is an SK thing now. They like these melee champions.
Ich sehe auch noch nicht das Teamfighten später von Locke, persönlich. Ich sehe es noch nicht, aber ja.
At the wrong time. Just need to wait for Locke release.
Das war ja auch wieder eine Wetteraufnahme Draft und hat gepasst mit dem Resultat.
That's usually what happens, yes. The only reason it's getting let through is because it's looked so terrible on stage. And I think everyone is just kind of giving it the do-it-you-won't challenge.
Yeah.
And SK are doing it.
I also think it's like pretty high risk, like if you're not able to find any sort of lead, especially in this game when you're up against the Vayne with Exhaust. So that's really hard to assassinate. You can't assassinate the Neferi because she has the Invulnerable. Cassio is pretty difficult as well because she gets so tanky. It's only really Hansama, but he has LeBron feeling for him on the Leona with Exhaust as well. So I think it's a Slowq's got his work cut out for him.
Slowing down, flash out from Caps. Caps now level 6. Okay, so getting the flash out of Caps is big. Flash advantage now in the mid lane. Maybe this is where Slowq can start to get aggressive Purgatory on the table.
Yeah. Especially with Skeens when he hits level 6 now. And
ich glaube nicht, dass tot ist, der Champion, aber... Aber es ist kein Blind Pick oder auch into Cassio, das kann in meinem Kopf kein gutes Matchup sein.
You know? Yeah, but you're like zoning her off wave and she has to do it every time you W4.
But that's because his support would lane.
True. Wunder is in trouble. He does have Flash. He's starting to speed out as he turns back to Mini, hoping he could kind of bounce on Scumon's head there and make it out as Scumon continues to poke with the Dark and Daggers, but yet another Flash burn.
Also Scumon hätte auf jeden Fall für den Kill committen können. Frage ist, ob sie
level 6 and didn't
gewesen wäre.
Scumon or Broken Blade decided to flash forward to follow him. He doesn't have the TP though, and his wave is in a dire strait. That Broken Blade is just freezing it. And Wunder has been holding on pretty well in terms of CS, but with how the wave is now, he's going to fall behind quite a bit in the XP and CS department.
Next flash over the wall. Caps does have ulti. Mickey has to be careful here as he's caught in the miasma, engaged there. Purgatory used by Slowq, but the immediate exhaust now coming in from LeBron to deny the play, and Slowq running for his life. The Grey Health ticket.
Muss wieder so viel. Oh mein Gott.
Super aggressive. He's going to get exhausted. There are too many exhausts in this game. Now Skeens is going to re-engage. Level 5 Wukong, but again, all that armor, Conqueror fully stacked. Skeemon's just forced to back off. Scuttle Crab on top side will go to Skeens, so he'll be likely first to level 6. No.
Not a whole lot of damage in that skirmish. I guess because of the exhaust, as you mentioned, quite scrappy but scuffed. Ooh, Hansama. See, like, what's the counterplay? He even outplayed it. And he still just gets pushed back.
He won the trade.
Yeah, but he should win it harder.
You just annoyed
okay, you're right.
by all displacements. Mickey's level 4.
Well, there's very few displacements.
This is the biggest bluff I've ever seen. That
no way this works.
Mickey, du bist mies am Enden.
Not good first.
Also,
that was weird.
mies am Enden, Bro.
Weird. Yeah, it is. Skewman able to pick up the dragon. And
Okay.
LeBron is now looking to gank top lane. Wunder has the ward, but LeBron has flash.
Go
for a flash Zenith Blade, but he gets spotted out. He's probably just going to recall or run towards mid lane.
Look, I'm glad the game is slow, Jack, because it gives us time to discuss the important things. It's not enough sometimes to decide things amongst ourselves, amongst the teams. We need the public to chime in. We got to know people. Perks, glasses, no glasses. You got to vote in chat. We're leaving this up to democracy.
What do you think? I think if he wins, it's cool. If he loses, it's...
I actually just like it because when was the last time you ever cared what a coach wore on stage? It was Yamato Cannon and his like crazy sick suits. So I like when coaches have a little personality. Does he look like an airline controller?
Oh,
yes.
Yes, he really does. With the headset as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
He's
God.
calling in. You're good to land. That sort of thing. You know.
Maybe
I don't know if I trust
that
Perks
G2 needs
to land the plane, but. You know, I think he could convince me he could do it. As Wunder, Wallop not going to connect him to Broken Blade. But Mickey is here to cover, and it really is a all-around-the-world tour from both these supports. And credit to LeBron and Mickey. They are effectively matching each other perfectly. There hasn't really been any greater advantages gained by either side. The downside is G2's just natural lane states are pretty winning. So they're still pulling a bit ahead in gold as Yappa finally no scatter. Flash over Sama! One more bomb. Dark Sphere. Comet doesn't connect.
Oh, BB stop.
Oh. Sidestep. Mickey moving in, mounted up on the horse.
Outplanes ist, outplanes.
Wunder getting chunked
Nein.
out. First blood, no Wunder barely able to escape. LeBron can't make it out. Yappa kills Hansa.
Aha.
Okay. We cast her curse G2.
Wir sind so back.
Bro might be dead as well. Skeens is here, has the flash, has the
Wir sind so back. Nicht gehen.
Eclipse.
They don't decide to go for
Das war ein sehr klatsches Level Up, ja.
They win on
Komplett
both
klatsch.
top and bot. Hansama tried to go for the outplay on Syndra, but didn't quite have the damage with Yopa flashing the phosphorus bomb.
Okay, meanwhile, falling. Going all in. Purgatory, domain expansion.
Wow.
Get out! Oh, you love to see it. The weaves. Love every moment, but now they're on the chase, and Slowq probably just dead. 240 health healed up. Not going to be able to get back to pick up that soul. And Skewmon, happy to just grab the kill in return.
That was cool.
Ja.
He sidestepped the petrifying gaze and was able to take down Caps.
Hat G2 ein Range-Problem, ist die
Nice
Frage,
play
ne?
there from the lock, showing some of that lock power as we watch what happened in the top lane. So Broken Blade, I think he tumbles forward, yeah, and then gets flashed on by Mickey, and he gets so chunked, and Wunder dashes forward so Broken Blade doesn't get the stun. And then Broken Blade doesn't quite have the damage with the bomb planing on Wunder to take him down. And that means that it's a kill on top, and then we get a replay of the bot play as well, or that's going to come later, I suppose. I thought we were going to... Yeah, okay, here it is. Let's see. So Hansama dashes forward. Yopa doesn't have the Scatter of the Week for a bit, and then Hansama flashes it, but because Yopa flashes the bomb,
Greed in der Wave. Ah, nein.
and then Yopa can walk around, and he has
keine Mana, ja.
Right, so now Hansama is pretty much always going to be dead here. Oh, but he has like 2
He's
HP.
close.
Very close there.
Look, you got it. I mean, this is part of the reason that Wunder, when she first came out, was so incredibly oppressive, right? It's just the Q. She doesn't have to stop for the Q animation, so she just kind of gets to dance around you. And now Hansama is going to be in trouble once again. Mickey lining up, Shattering Strike connected this time into immediate scatter the weak. Onsama can't even push his buttons, the exhaust is there, but they lack just that tiny bit of damage.
Muss tot sein. Wait, die gehen nicht dafür.
Now coming over the wall.
Oh, und
Mickey,
ganz
a
sauber.
dead man walking. Skewmon waiting for an angle to throw
Und das Game ist sauber.
ulti. It's just coming off the cooldown. Is Mickey likely to die to the minions? He's channeling in with the Hex Flash. Quick stun to follow, but he will drop in the end. It looked like a picture-perfect dive, but they failed the DPS check.
SK didn't have the damage to take down Hansama. That's the price you pay when you run the exhaust instead of the ignite. And at least Mickey was able to buy some time to make sure that Yoppa didn't end up going down as well, with Skewmon not being able to use the ultimate.
I like it. Good recovery from Hansama, a bit of an overestimation from SK. But you know who didn't overestimate themselves? It's Luka Perkovic. Twitch chat, 81% with glasses, 19% without. 19%, you guys need to check yourself. You're boring. 81%, you're correct. Wunder, on the other hand, I don't know when that happened, but
Das frage ich ihn, was da im Draft passiert ist und was da so der Gedanke ist. Du gehst ins Game rein, du weißt aber ganz genau, okay, ich werde komplett
exactly what we
gefistet.
expected to happen, but it's still crazy to see it in real time.
Yeah.
As during the bot lane kills, there was also top lane fighting. So it's just really just 1v1s, 2v2s across the entire map. Slow Q using the ritual nails to go in. Now in melee range of Caps, though, definitely not ideal. Solar Flare going a little bit wide. The healing coming in from Slow Q. Forced to use his ulti. Exhaust is there too. Yoppa trying to move in, but the burn damage, the Eclipse, gonna finish him off. Not gonna be able to grab
nothing
that
ever happens.
control now, but Yoppa hoping to
Klassiker.
finish up this kill. Pullback is there from Mickey, and Yoppa grabs
Aber Gold even.
Yoppa gets a return kill at least for SK. Nice outplay by Caps there. Now G2 want to contest for this crab. Broken Blade is here, but Yoppa's already, or still rather, in this mid lane, while Caps is pushing down bot lane.
Team mounting up, just threatening with the Shattered Strike. No ulti, no flash available from Caps. Has
Ja, es kam direkt Wunder
trying to
ins
get tricky
Visier.
with it. Knocks into the wall. One Silver Bolt,
Direkt nach
nowhere to
dem
go. The point and click ulti.
Check, ja.
The clone not enough to save him. It looked weird from Broken Blade, right? Why is he going for that angle? But perfect coordination with his jungler makes it all come together.
And his damage was so much higher than I expected. Like, you look at his inventory, and he doesn't look like that scary, but he pretty much solo killed Skeens there from 70% just with that stun. How much damage he was doing with the ultimate as well.
All that extra AD. Silver Bolt's proc. Dem into the wall. Yeah. The Vein Burst, pretty annoying, I will say.
It's tough for the Nart to deal with, and it doesn't get much better. That's the worst part about this matchup. Wunder has held on pretty well, though. He's only down 10 CS, 500 gold.
Yeah, we thought he might have the sauce to turn the matchup in his favor. It was just kind of the sauce to hold on a little bit longer.
But that's some good sauce.
That's good. That's important to have.
A lot of people haven't been able to have that sauce up against the Vayne in the Gnar matchup.
That's true. Although, let's, again, reminder, it's pretty chill. It's still a 600 gold lead and 2 kills to 1. But now both supports are involved. Unless all the CC lands onto Broken Blade, I don't think there's any way SK win this 2v2.
I think this might be part of the sauce, though. The fact that because it's 2v2, it's not that they win the 2v2, but Skewmon jumps in on Skeens.
Going on to Skeens, immediately forces Cyclone. Now Hansama's going to jump in. This is going to be a lot of burst damage. Follow-up spin coming in from Skeens. Turns invisible for a brief moment, but Skewmon is just going to go for the chase here. The pack called, flash in, daggers, smite to the side. The dog's now looking to chase a fall, but Skeens still living for an extra moment. The shutdown is there. Yoppa! 3-0-0, having a hell of a game. Watch it from Broken Blade. Exhaust, a little bit
mein
extra
Gott,
shielding coming in.
lebt.
That's the lock
Oh
of the
mein Gott,
Solar
lebt.
from Mickey, but now it's Mickey himself who's in trouble. Crashed
Holy
down to stay living.
shit.
Mega there, just in time. G2 so close to getting that kill. Wunder still walking forward. Needs to connect onto Broken Blade. Instead, they're going to focus on Lebrov. Wallop is there. Looks like Lebrov will just be sacrificed as the Gnar comes out from Wunder, and they're going to turn that play right around.
Well played.
And SK, they strike back with a kill in the mid lane, kill in the top lane, getting a gold lead back.
Das ist doch der SK-Win.
And the gold lead on the Vayne top has pretty much evaporated. Wunder's not going to be able to get a plate, but he's still going to sit pretty damn happy as he matches the kills from Broken Blade.
And as much as Lebrov is matching the roams from Mickey and
Das ist es doch.
Mickey still 3 assists here, present in a lot of these kills. Gold still in the favor of the top side of G2, of course. Skewmon 500 advantage has been.
Ich traue ja persönlich SK den Win zu.
Especially in that bottom lane. Yoppa on the way to 2 items. Shadow.
In erster Linie erstmal der Fnatic Delay. Nee, in erster Linie wäre es tatsächlich mal perfekt, um Zeit zu steuern bis zur LCS. Da hast du dich leider vertan.
That it makes Vayne's gameplay so much harder because you cannot just dash in. We've seen Broken Blade now dash in twice. And if Mickey is able to retaliate and stop him from taking down Wunder, that's when SK's 2v2 in the top side can actually come out on top. and the fact that it allows Wunder to have a much more comfortable game. When we've seen this matchup in the isolated 1v1 is so difficult for the Gnar. So really nicely played by Mickey to just continue to match.
Also eh nicht zwischen LEC und LCS? Na doch, ich würde mich eine halbe Stunde hinlegen. Tatsächlich.
Drake here.
Keep in mind, G2 have already
Ja, was ist?
Already ahead in the grubs as well.
Ein bisschen faulenz.
Behind in the objective game, and with that Herald picked up, will be behind in gold, but at least they keep things even in terms of the Drakes.
Another Cloud.
Runde Solo-Queue, klar.
Cloud Soul.
Who do we favor this game for the Cloud? I think pretty good for both.
It's pretty good for both.
Although Vayne with Cloud Soul is crazy.
Vayne.
Ja, Blabber gestern ist zum Wardkill in eine Victor-Ulti reingelaufen, ist gestorben.
I think it's more, can you one-shot her, or will she run you down?
I think especially this game, since she doesn't have Ghost, as you sometimes run on main top, the Cloud Soul would be very nice on her.
Nicht für Real natürlich. Ist dann noch mit Vive 4 Mann voll in Inhibitor reingerast mit der Ulti. Hat Suicide und ist gerne mal 5 Minuten länger gemacht. Ne, C9 hat gewonnen. Aber es war fertig.
So the gold lead from that Herald vanished pretty fast. SSK got 2 towers of their own. And Hansama needs to be pretty careful now on mid lane. He has no flash, and Skeens can be really scary, especially with like a scatter the weak with Mickey on the flank. It's going to be more difficult for G2 to contest this mid wave going into later objectives.
And it's going to be really tough because for Skewmont, obviously we talk about how good he can be because he can just go untargetable with the call of the pack. But if you get caught by a piece of CC, the follow-up here from Yalfa and slow Q is insane. It's very possible for you to just die in the duration of a single piece of CC from either one of the supporting members of SK, Mickey or Skeens.
So SK get mid-prow here, moving into top. Trying to force G2 back.
G2 esports.
That's what Paul's always said when he was on G2.
True.
It's kind of endearing.
It's very endearing. Got a lot of love for that man. Wunder, at the very least, gets to push out one wave with the support of his team. Skewmont is getting further and further ahead, though. And I'm wondering when we're going to get to see that Nefiri damage once more.
Yeah, he hasn't really popped off yet. I feel like we've yet to really see the Nefiri like land both of the Qs, get the big damage one shot. The fights have been a little bit iffy for him.
Yeah, I mean, there've been a lot of aggressive flashes this game from both sides, and some of them have been.
The one in mid lane is pretty memorable.
The one in mid lane was a little bit rough, but yeah,
you need like 2 more items to make that flash.
Yeah. If you're early mid game Nefiri, if you're not hitting both daggers, I feel like you're just not really doing damage.
Yeah.
As you get later in the game, it's a little bit more forgiving. Still most of the damage on that ability, but got a lot of dashes, a lot of tools to make up for it. If you miss one, slow Q now on a side lane, and look, this early matchup looked a lot worse, but again, credit to Mickey here, kind of coming in and supporting Caps in some of the difficult early stages, and now the gold lead is still pretty close.
I think it's still hard for him to, I mean, he can walk up and clear. That's one of the big strengths of Locke and why he works as a meta melee assassin. SK are going for a dive on top.
Dog spotting him out. Forcing a flash as well as the W coming in. Skeens on the top side of the fight. Exhausted by Broken Blade, but just the clone going to be auto-attacked as Mickey just continues to run.
The counterplay, I mean, the counterplay is good from G2.
Massive damage.
I'll give him that.
Might be in trouble, but Slow Q ready to go to the wall. Purgatory picked up. LeBrob looks like he might be first to fall. The exhaust still ticking. Slow Q taking down LeBrob, grabbing another soul there from Purgatory. SK happy to at least get the 1-for-1 as it's just both supports dying.
Yeah, both supports are falling. Slow Q invested the TP while Caps did not use his. As we watch the play back here, it starts off with Wunder getting a really nice Mega Gnar ultimate onto Broken Blade. They're nearly able to one-shot him, if not for the exhaust that Broken Blade used onto Skeens. And Mickey tries to get out, but not able to do so. And then Slow Q comes in with the teleport, dashes over the wall, gets the slow onto LeBrob. And with the execute and the Cinder ultimate, they're able to take him down.
Wenn ihr spielt jetzt Powerballs, Glückwunsch, weg von Solo-Queue.
Honestly, neck and neck game, and I think unlike our first game where it felt like there was this kind of inevitability of scaling, this game feels like it's going to be a lot more difficult to predict who will come out on top in these fights. A lot of it coming down to setup instead, as we see lane matchups shifted. Broken Blade matchup against Caps is Mickey going all in on Broken Blade. I guess just to get the wave in there.
And I think Slow Q already used his spells on the wave. Well, I think Mickey thought.
Das sind jetzt Magenbotschafter, nein. Ich zahle mich auch dumm und dämlich.
But didn't have the damage.
Tatsächlich.
That Magnus Storm, but not the end of the world to use that cooldown. Is he gonna have it? He's not gonna have.
Ja, wir sind ja langsam an dem Punkt angekommen, wo ich fragen muss, traue ich SK zu, das Game zu gewinnen.
at least the pursuit cooldown.
Antwort unsicher. Ja.
The big player that I'm looking at for G2 is
Unsicher.
SK have a lot of tools to shut him down. The Cyclone from Skeens, a Meganar ultimate from Wunder, Scatter the Weak from Yoppa, Mickey Flash ultimate. But all of those tools, Broken Blade can outplay them with great movement. If he uses the Flash well, if he tumbles well, uses the...
Die Syndra kann halt scheppern. Ja, wenn ich jetzt gegen eine Tür laufen würde, wird die auch scheppern.
And he's certainly strong enough.
Verstehst du, worauf ich hinaus will?
G2 want to reclaim the territory here.
CC onto Skeens, Aftershock proc for LeBron. Has to be careful not to step too far forward. Broken Blade's gonna find the angle. Immediate one shot on Yoppa. Perfect use of the stealth.
Noch Fragen?
Slow Q now running for his life. Mickey hoping
Gut.
to find the distance.
Haben wir es geklärt.
Keeps chasing forward. He will land the Shattering Strike, but SK already too much on the back foot. Flash back from Broken Blade. Wunder had a flash of his own, but happy to just get that one for free.
Yoppa,
Broken Blade
die sogenannte Tür.
Onto Yoppa to give them that dragon. He went a little bit too deep later and had to burn the flash, and we'll see if that will cost him in the later fights. But with that, it's going to be the dragon going over for G2 and no fight for SK. That's the vulnerability that you play as Yoppa in this game. Like, you're up against the Solar Flare, like, you see this fight, and Yoppa is like, he wants to cross this pathing. I just don't think he can, right? Because there's so many threats. And LeBron actually does a really cool flash of the Solar Flare. So there's nowhere for Yoppa to realistically run or flash to. Even if he doesn't fail flash over the wall, he's still always going to die there to the Solar Flare. So it's just a position that's too difficult to hold as this immobile control mage. He needs to walk around, but then his team is also isolated, and it's just difficult for him to play.
That is definitely incredibly tricky. Whereas we look on the opposite side, yes, Caps is immobile, but is very, very tanky by comparison. Yoppa feels like the most immobile, most vulnerable member of either team that we see on the map. Even Hansama has access to that Valkyrie. So his positioning in fights is going to be super critical and something we have to track, because that last one was a bit rough. Good setup for G2 though, certainly, as Broken Blade now 2-1-2 Essence Reaver. So,
and also, like, Yoppa is all of SK's damage. Like, he's the only one that has... Skeens just picked up his second item, but he's 2.5 items. He's actually, I'd say, stronger than his counterpart. While when you look at the rest of the map, I feel like Caps is stronger than Slow Q, Broken Blade is stronger than Wunder, Skewmon is stronger than Skeens. So it really comes down to Yoppa to find some great Scatter the Weaks, have a great ultimate, have a lot of damage in these team fights to make that difference for SK. So, completely agree with you, Drake, with the positioning of the Syndra is super important. That could have been scary as well. If LeBron was a little bit faster there and got the Solar Flare, could have been another death for Yoppa. That's the risk you run when you don't run the cleanse on the mages in the bot lane.
Cloud hat einen 30 Sekunden Cooldown. Also alle 30 Sekunden kannst du es blocken quasi.
It really feels like if SK don't get that perfect, you know, chain CC, AoE kind of team fight, G2 are just going to out-damage them in the extended play, and it's so hard for SK to lock down these members of G2. You can see them pretty effortlessly just walking away, but Wunder free stacking on the Brav right now on the Rage, forcing the G2 retreat. Solar Flare going a little bit wide, but Wunder losing some health in return. Dash in, flash in, and it's Caps now. He's been locked up, but it's Broken Blade on the flank looking to lock up Slow Q. Mickey hoping for the interrupt. Double exhaust now traded back as Skeens manages to take down Caps. Yoppa on the bottom side of the fight, getting pushed back by Skewmon, who's going to dash again over the wall to try and retreat. Hansama and Broken Blade, double 80 carries, still standing. Slow Q, Wunder,
Skeens,
but it's enough to win the fight. The nails coming through for Slow Q. The reset to take him out, a flash away, matched by Hansama as the double buffs allow him to get the return kill.
Oh my god, it's an absolute massacre at 4-4-3. It's so back and forth here. It starts off with really, really nice positioning from Wunder. He's able to get a lot of damage on G2, and G2 are so split up. Broken Blade's over the wall, Hansama's over the wall. They're not able to back up their teammates, and they need to make the decision, do we go in, do we walk around? And you can see how it's difficult for Hansama and Broken Blade to join this fight, and Wunder senses that, and he pulls the trigger. He's able to get onto Caps, they're able to take him down, but in doing so, Yoppa is now exposed to the Neferi and the back lines, and that means that G2's backline can now go forwards.
Oh, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, my shots.
Mickey caught Mickey down, and you can see in that fight, again, G2 beautifully taking Yoppa out of the equation, threw a ton of damage at a Neferi that did not stick because of the call of the pack, and that big gold advantage that they had did nothing for them in that exchange. You saw the vision, it just did not come together for SK. G2, credit to them, really outfighting.
You're seeing the reset potential of the look, though. When he gets one kill there, he's able to dash away as well. And he really, I think Odo said it really well, that it's kind of like a Katarina. Not in the sense that if you get one reset, the game is immediately won, but just that he needs to get that initial reset, because that's what allows him to have that mobility. Now Caps might be in trouble here.
Spin on the Caps. Purgatory already pulled out. 2 members locked up, and now it's Skewmon who's in trouble. Reset is there, but they're going to back away as it's double TPs from G2. Double 80 carries joining the fray. Hansama and Broken Blade will not let that play go unpunished. Ulti out from Broken Blade. Will just take his time finishing off the blue buff. Slowq debating if he wants to re-engage. Control word over the wall. Yappa on the way in. G2 not out of harm's way yet, but it's the Hex Flash over the wall onto Lebrov. Yappa, nice forward step to get away from the Solar Flare. Both sides poking and prodding as Wunder continues to split push in the top lane, looking to knock down that tower. Overall, SK pretty content with that exchange. 1-for-1, and they get that tower.
Yeah, Broken Blade wanted revenge for Caps, but in doing so, he left the top lane for Wunder to be able to push and get its tower for himself. And now Wunder is actually the one with the gold lead in top. And he's doing quite well on this Gnar. 3-1 and 2, has a 40 CS lead that he's built onto Broken Blade. The game is starting to look a lot better for SK with how scrappy these fights are looking, but we're gonna have a 5v5. Drake is spawning in 10 seconds, and all 10 members are running towards that dragon.
G2 willing to concede all that farm.
Ein Deathcap fertig bei Vujopa und keine 120 Stacks, das ist actually horrible. So close vor, richtig OP.
Got good positioning.
Deathcap plus 120 Stacks wären sehr, sehr, sehr insane.
Hellfar's getting chipped away at trying to keep that Gnar bar just on the edge of tipping over.
Wunder has no flash. Hard to find a great Gnar engage.
Teams on the flank. Jungler's going to find each other. Skewmon favored in the 1v1, however, means Skews immediately retreats.
Skewmon ist nicht favored in 1v1, FYI.
Second, Wunder falls out of Mega. It's really easy for G2 to pull the trigger. 15 seconds before he can start even stacking Rage again, let alone get that bar completely full. Crash down, out, has demounted. Skewmon on the flank. Solar Flare forcing the flash out of Yopa. It's a slow burn of a fight. Both sides waiting for the perfect angle.
Oh, vaya, so que es with that.
Jumps over the wall, grouping with the team. 50-50 territory. Skeens dashing in. Objective getting lower. Manages to grab it, and it's instant one shot onto the Rob. Purgatory landing onto 2. But the chase not quite there. G2 don't want to risk overcommitting, but now Broken Blade sees an angle. Dashes in with the ulti. Condemned decent, but it doesn't connect.
Oh, it's so intense, the standoff. Neither team is.
So, und jetzt hat Yopa 120 Stacks und Deathcap, und jetzt ist sehr, 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 sehr OP.
Skeen's able to pick up the smite, but you can see how intense it is. And once that Solar Flare is down for G2, that's really their only engage. And on the other side, SK didn't have the flash on Mickey, didn't have the flash on Wunder, which is really the 2 people that can pull the trigger alongside Skeens. But Skeens would then want to have that role in this fight as he needs to want to secure the dragon.
Broken Blade.
SK fighting really back though.
That they are. Look, 500 gold difference between these two teams, now tied on Drake's. A basically dead even game.
Broken Blade has...
You don't have the luxury of scaling now. Dash in with the Ashen Pursuit from Slowq. He's going to be in trouble now. Burning, running away. The slow still ticking on him, but Wunder trying to hold the line as best he can. Ulti goes onto the clone, it looks like.
Oh, Leute.
So the fall damage really isn't there. Mickey on the flank with absolutely no HP. From downtown, finds the ulti and exhaust. Not enough to stop him, but it's Caps.
Sie machen das Unmögliche möglich.
In the meantime, it's a double kill for Wunder, but not nearly enough to take the fight as G2 take down 4.
Where did Mickey come from? This was a 4 for 3 here, but Mickey wanted to go for the flank, but he comes into the fight so low HP that he's not able to contribute despite the fact that Wunder lands the Mega Gnar. As it starts off with the attempt to pick off Broken Blade, but he kites it out. You can see Mickey on the minimap trying to flank. Yopa TP's in, and the damage, the fight is starting to look pretty good for SK, but then the Scatter the Weak doesn't land, and Mickey is so chunked here when he gets this flash. And then Caps just takes down the backline while Wunder is getting the Mega Gnar. And it's not going to be any objective, but that is going to be a...
Spoiler, ich weiß nicht, ob die Series vorbei ist, aber...
It's a little bit in their favor.
Ich weiß nicht, ob die Series vorbei ist, aber ich muss trotzdem drin sein.
Plays the next fight better.
And Hansama
also, okay. Ich weiß nicht, ob es vorbei ist. Ich habe eine Vermutung, ob SK dieses Game gewinnen wird. Und ich muss halt drin sein, bevor die Series vorbei ist.
It connected onto Slowq. That's what forced him out so quickly. See if they continue to replicate that, because as powerful as SK's composition is, as much as they have the kind of better CC tools overall, it's still really fragile. If they just delete Yappa or Slowq, it feels like their entire fight plan just falls apart.
Yeah, I think both Broken Blade Caps, Hansama, all of them can buy a lot more time in the fight, alongside Skumon as well. While for SK, if Yoppa is caught out of position, it's just over for him. Slowq does have a lot of mobility as well, but not very tanky. So both of the carries of SK need to play a lot more cautiously than...
G2 SK, ja, wir kriegen ein Wunder-Interview.
G2 control now over the Baron area. Excellent tools to force it down. 3 damage stretch, they can delete.
Auch bei Luz, er hat keine Wahl, glaube ich. Ich glaube, er hat keine Wahl. Ich würde es ihm nicht antun, aber tja.
Especially with how strong Yoppa started.
Was soll er machen?
Hansama has done an excellent job of hoovering up CS, picking up kills in these fights. Now just a disgusting amount of damage that he can output. Of course, not a lot of defensive stats, just the HP on the Trinity Force. Once again, both sides grouping. Nice chunk on the big one onto Yoppa. Immediate crash down coming out as Skumon calls the pack, ready to kick off the fight. But there's just, oh my god, there's so much posturing.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
But you don't like it.
Nah, I feel like the kid with 2 action figures where you just hit them together against each other. That's the moment I'm waiting for. And I get that this is
We've got some of that. I mean, that last fight was kind of like that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of that. But both sides are really just playing to the limits.
Well, G2 seem like they want to fulfill your wish. They've started off the Nash. Now SK need to try to find a way to enter.
Well, you can see it's pretty easy for G2 to just 2-man this. Again, they have 3 people who can shred through a Nash. Solar Flare going wide, though, is big. He brought it up before. That's really the only reliable engagement. But flash over the wall from Caps is a damn good way to get that fight shifted.
CEO.
The blink of an eye. The staring contest. Easily won, but now Mickey with the Slowq waiting for the reset.
Nope.
Can he find another? Wunder waiting for the setup. Dash back in on the Action Pursuit, but Slowq just doesn't have the damage to finish it. Flash over the wall, but he's burning down. Skumon to get another. Wunder will take down Caps, but it costs him just about everything. Skumon continuing to chase, dashes away from the wallow-up. It was close, but G2 take the fight. The Skumon gets a triple.
And it was so close, but it's an ace for G2, and it's going to be the Nash for G2 as well, as I think Skumon and Lebrov should be able to with the Wolves tanking up the Nash. That feels like maybe that was the last opportunity that SK had in this series. As G2 shut the door, it starts off pretty good for SK with the fact that Lebrov misses the Solar Flare, but then Caps lands his Petrifying Gaze, and they kill Yoppa so damn fast. And I thought when Mickey got this fantastic engage, I think if Slowq doesn't go into the Zonias here, maybe, I'm not sure. It kind of looked like a misclick, because if he just presses the E instead, he can take down Broken Blade instantly, and then dash over the wall and then buy so much more time, and maybe be the tide that turns alongside Wunder. But alas, it was not meant to be, as G2 get the ace and they get the Nash.
Yeah, that little combo there felt like it might shift things back in their favor, but really credit to Lebrov and Caps. I don't know if that's an acting performance as he steps a little too far forward there, or if it's all planned, but either way, it worked out phenomenally. And you can see, as impactful as that ulti was from Caps, it's really double 80 carries on the side of G2 that are very dynamic.
Wunder,
Now you can see, this is pretty unplayable for Wunder. Gonna desperately try to go mega. The wall barely clips him. It might be enough. Nice sidestep from Broken Blade. Wunder cannot connect. Lock to the Iron Solari once again. Wunder's life for the second time this game, just barely holding on.
Broken Blade barely got clipped by the stun there, so he's not able to have the damage to take down Wunder. As he is on a long flank here by Skins. He doesn't have the ultimate nor the exhaust. Has the flash though.
Flash. Good damage. Spinning on top of Broken Blade. Flash away. Nice condemn backwards on the second Cyclone, but a flash in from Skeens finishes the job. G2 at least break the bottom lane tier 2 tower, so the Baron push from G2 slowed. The gold lead still very heavily in their favor, but the impact of this Red Bull Baron power play going to be somewhat mitigated unless...
They're on a ward, so Mickey knew. Just wants to waste their time and try to cancel some of the recalls from G2. And it does mean that, as you said, the Baron play is not just slowed, it's stopped for G2, as all they get is the Dragon and the tower on bot lane. So SK can walk away pretty happy with that, as the gold lead is a negative Baron power play for G2.
Of course, nerfed a while back in terms of the initial burst of gold it gives you, and the towers, the kill, very heavily favoring SK in that regard. Still almost 3,000 in favor of G2, and more importantly, Soul Point. The next Cloud would give them that Cloud Soul, and SK absolutely cannot afford to let happen, as that Solar Flare does connect. Wunder locked up, immediate response now coming in. The Hound's Pursuit from Skumon trying to chase, but Skeens has found his way on top of Hansama, and this might just be enough to lock him out of the fight. Hansama already quickly retreating, though. It's only Lebrov to drop thus far. SK see an angle to get even more. That gold advantage from the Red Bull Baron power dropping further and further. SK managed to turn the play.
And G2 underestimated how tanky Wunder was. They thought they could one-shot him in the CC chain, but they didn't quite have the damage.
Also Wunder versucht hier wirklich alles, was geht.
Should be fine here, just jumps over the wall, but see SK finally able to take back some of the control of the map here and get some of that jungle position.
Now Wunder able to pick up the Randuins as well, so even more tanky effective stats in terms of fighting up against Hansama and Broken Blade. Both opted into a pretty sizable amount of crit. SK not out of the woodworks just yet. Again, it feels like the burden of execution lies on their shoulders. The composition for G2 is quite vulnerable. You can see how if a single member mispositions, they just get one-tapped instantaneously. But on the opposite side, if SK burn a cooldown, waste a Gnar ulti, or if Mickey uses a combo without connecting on those key carries, any one of Caps, Hansama, Broken Blade, or Skewmon can kind of solo carry a fight.
Definitely. I think Wunder, though, is going to be really, really strong in these fights. If he's able to time that Mega Gnar transition well, but Caps is in trouble here.
Ashen, Purgatory on a Caps. Nice backstep from Slow Q, moving in with the Ashen Pursuit to try to finish the job. Caps buys a couple extra seconds, waits for the Purgatory to fall away at the very least, but that's a shutdown for Slow Q.
That's Caps dead for 60 seconds. There's no objective up and available, but SK can look to siege for the mid and the top tower at least. And if SK can find a fight here, this will be the end of the game. But G2, they know this. They don't want to give them that fight. They're just going to respect and drop both the mid and the top tower.
Broken Blade trying to offer at least one pressure point for the side of G2 Esports. Recalling before staying around for another wave as he doesn't see anyone, so has to be a bit conservative here. But the gold lead's shrinking. 1,000 now between them. It's really just about execution in the fights. You can see almost full build here for Hansama. Old school full build, not modern era full build.
Hansi hat kein LEA. Das ist sehr useful gegen den Randuins. Na, auf jeden Fall. Und gegen den Wookie. 400 Armor.
Doing quite decent work on this Locke. I think if he's able to get one reset and get the fight going. One thing that I know Riot at least stated was that Locke has a good early game, but his late game is supposed to be really, really bad. And we'll have to see if that's true or not. And this singular game will determine my complete and utter opinion on that.
I think it should. Because it's that or the other two LOC games we've seen, which both have been.
True.
Also.
It's like critical thinking and try to look at statistics.
Bekommen wir das Banshees fertig. Bekommen wir das GA fertig. Weil wenn ich diese Item Power Spike sehe bei dem Drake Fight, würde ich behaupten, dass SK Favorite
ist. has never won before.
It's true.
Da ist Banshees.
We did have a show match between KC and KCB, or KCB and
that's true.
KCC.
But that doesn't count.
Oh, Locke also lost that game. It was just gooey. He was just turbo fed.
Did he lose that game?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he won. He was like 25 kills or something.
Did he win?
He was so fast.
You can tell I didn't cast that. What that's Goto and Medic.
Pretty sure he won.
Well, there you go. I'm just going to trust you, because I don't know. It's Wunder ready to kick things off.
The bro is face checking here.
Face checking. They have enough damage to just one-shot this Leona. The Solar Flare is good, though. G2 now feel like they have to follow up, but it's just a lot of health bars traded. Wunder losing about 50% of his as well. Is forced into Mega.
Oh, you underestimated the Leona. They didn't quite have
GA fertig, Benji fertig.
Is still good, despite the nerfs.
Ich favor hier SK bei einem Fight.
And Mickey has the Mikhails now, so that's really good for Yopa. He used that to get Yopa out of any harm's danger from LeBron.
Also this. I'm going to very poorly circle that Abyssal Mask.
Wow, you got to work on those circles. You also have the small circle tool.
Small circle. Is it the right size? No, it's too big, bro. Too big. Abyssal Mask, nice. Double AP, we love to see it. Supports. Think critically about your items. Doesn't have a protoplasm harness of his own, though, so much more vulnerable.
Soul spawning in 10 seconds for G2. They have full control here.
Position beim Ding aufgeben ist Quatsch.
SK, they want to try to re-enter. They were thinking about doing the Nash, but now G2 can poke them out.
Some poke decent, but Caps waiting over the wall. That's the first thing we have to keep our eyes on. Nice control work to spot him. Mega Gnar pop for Wunder. A tiny window for them to try and hard force a play. If they don't use this Mega, it's going to be so much harder for them to fight. Scatter connects onto LeBron. Big cooldown down. Ritual Nails used, but just a tiny bit of poke. Skeens continues to go for the walkabout here. I think unaware that Caps is waiting in that brush. SK forced to group up like this as G2 just takes so much space. Broken continue to force. Did use his ultimate.
Capture revenge flash,
lower and lower. Dash in onto Hansama. 2 members locked up by the cyclone. Yopa immediately gonna ult. That's a reset coming in for Slowcue.
Win SK oder nicht? Hard win SK.
He responded to by Skewmon. He can't stick to the target. It's the death ball of SK. Caps looking for a way in. Incredible backstep on the petrifying gaze from Skeens. Keeps this fight alive as Wunder desperate to keep the engage going, but the triple carries on the side of
Das ist
G2.
der Hard win für SK, ja.
And it's SK to pick up a soul point of their own.
And it's so disjointed from G2. You said it so well, Dracos. SK, they're playing as a 5-man. They're playing as a ball. But look at G2. Caps is over the wall. Broken Blade is over the other wall.
Dort Hans, wenn er Skins angreift, ist es so pathetic.
This is so difficult to play. By the time Caps is
so mies bad.
already out and LeBron is dead.
Was Damage angeht hier gerade.
Well.
Kein Damage bei G2.
Four-man petrifying gaze, but you're relying on such like niche miracles to happen for you to be able to make such a fight happen because you're so split up. The saving grace for G2 is that SK wasn't able to pick up the Nash. They only got the Dragon. It's not the Soul. And they can still live on to fight another day. But G2 needs to be more organized. They need to be more grouped if they're going to be able to fight like this. One person can be on the flank, but not two.
And you can see one of the big struggles of kind of Hansama and for Broken Blade is Wall Cork. He does have a decent amount of AoE damage. It's a lot of single target. Whereas SK, if they can just find you grouped up, it's a lot of AoE. So even if you're not there first on their list for carry that has to get taken down, a scatter, a force of will from the Syndra, you're going to lose 50% of your HP just by being near any one of your teams.
Aber von 6. Nein, ich weiß wirklich nicht, ob die Schüsse weiß. Keine Ahnung. Also ich sehe das, was ihr seht.
I think that's difficult with how much armor you see.
Also das Menge Flash ist down. Die sollte Nash starten immediately. Bot Wave ist nämlich 8.
Already starting off the Nash.
G2 in a position to contest. Now forced to walk in, but it's SK who are split up. Yopa, who is isolated. This is very dangerous for the Syndra. Wunder fully stacking the Mega. Yopa coming over the wall, back.
Oh my god, sie sind indecisive.
Skeens and Mickey hoping to find a play. G2 collapsing on Mickey, knowing that he is the big playmaking tool. Carries of G2 stepping forward, trying to take a bit of a space. Exhaust from Mickey. Mickey about to get taken down. Skeens looking for a re-engage of his own. Nice backstep on the Solar Flare, but Mickey already forced out of the fight. Mickey already deleted. No Baron in sight.
Doctor Strange von SK.
The collapse on the Mickey paying off beautifully for G2. And Skeens
oh my god,
to fall. The coordination non-existent. Broken Blade looking to make a
Doctor Strange von SK.
On the way out, but the Hound's pursuit is there. Skewmon on the chase. Slowcue hoping desperately to get anything back. But all that's left.
Absoluter Doctor Strange von SK.
And a dream. A TP into the bottom lane as Wunder desperately tries to hold on, but even the wallop is not enough. G2 set to
Reiner Doctor Strange move.
G2, they found the fight. They got the ace. Caps can TP in the bot lane, and he's going to finish it up. The death timers are too long for them to be able to hold on. And it was SK. They didn't quite have the damage to finish the Nash. They didn't have the greatest turn. And G2 could kite them out, take down Mickey. Mickey's up in 2 seconds, but
würde ich aber, nein, ich wusste es nicht.
dead for 20.
Branded oder was?
Finish this game nice and clean.
Ich sehe genau dasselbe wie ihr. Aber man muss bis zum Nexus-Explosion muss man drin sein.
SK did not get another opportunity to use that combo. It's a full-on fountain dive. Farewell to arms for a former brother as G2 cleaned this one up nicely. 2-0 in the series versus SK, moving up to 3-1.
Oh, so. Die hat Interview mit Wunder, Interfinale gegen Gameplay.
Games went over 40 minutes, but G2 in the later game team fight kept finding the upper hand, kept finding the clutch fight that they needed to win the games.
And while in some ways it felt closer than we might have initially expected, it still did seem like G2 were still that level higher. Of course, your player of the game at LEC on X, G2 Broken Blades, Skewmon, or Hansama. All good options.
It's a tough one, because I felt like G2 has like a team kind of stepped up in the last stages. Maybe Broken Blade for the Olaf. But at the same time, he did do some funny things on the Vayne.
There's some funnies across the board. There was a flash for Dark and Daggers. I think everybody.
Hansama was pretty consistent.
I like that one. We're gonna hear from Broken Blade after the break. But overall, G2 continue to impress. There's a reason we count them amongst the top two, our spring champion, and we're ready now to go to that break. So when we return, we'll talk to Broken Blade. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it.
Hey, lass jetzt zusammen laufen, damit ihr es nicht verpasst.
ulti. What an incredible play there from
that was incredible. You love to see it.
Right, yeah, let's really
What
get into...
a move. He's just so good. I mean, the persistence, the patience to find the angle. You just don't see that from rookies. I think he's got it all. He's got the bad.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
I have a Kit Kat.
Ooh, that looks good. Do you want to maybe share a little bit? Yeah.
What a move.
Red Bull gives you wings.
When I was a player, if I was to like make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Secret on Stage standard initiative, aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Welcome. Wait, let me turn on the video. Hello? Oh. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Unangenehm. Schaut ihn alle an. Wenn ihr Fragen habt, wie immer, stellt sie in den Chat. Wenn ich sie gut genug empfinde, frage ich sie. Er hat mies gescampt. Chillig. Ey. Den nehmen wir wieder weg. nichts, da kriegt man mehr. Alles nehmen sie einem weg. Egal. Kommt der jetzt nochmal zurück oder wie sieht es aus? Give me a moment. No problem. No Problem. Alle Zeit der Welt, Bruder. Wann kommt das Interview auf YouTube? Well, sobald ich VOD hochlade. Also. Ab der nächsten halben Stunde wahrscheinlich. Kannst ja auch hier schauen, ja, hä? Ach, klar. Ey, ich bin gequetscht. Was ist das? Ey. What the fuck? Hello?
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay, my
what's
camera
up, what's up?
Snaube. Welcome. Did you want to dodge the interview, buddy? Yeah, sorry, my headset doesn't work. We can't do the interview.
Yeah, I was just lying to her actually for fun. Like, it's like, fuck this guy. Like, I see this smug face on my screen. Like,
yeah, it's low-key on me. I did not check who you guys played today when I requested in my defense.
Yeah, that's what they all say. That's what they all say. They just want to see me when I'm down. Like, it's okay.
You did play well, so. Like, regarding the matchup, why did you pick not knowing that they play Vayne? Like, was it just like, okay, well, somebody has to tank it and I just do it, or what?
I mean, we wanted to, without going into much into details, I guess, we wanted to, I guess, like, keep the flexing possibilities open. And I was kind of confident. I mean, I know they play, like, I mean, I will have to blind pick anyways, most likely. They will probably 5-pick top lane. And, like, I could ban Vayne, but we also saw that they were playing, like, Tristana. We know they play, like, Yasuo. And I kind of felt like Broken Blade specifically, I guess he's, like, not I don't think he's, like, as scary on... I mean, I think his Vayne and other champions he would play into now are, like, very similar, you know? So it's like, okay, do I play against Broken Blade Vayne or do I play against Yasuo, Tristana, whatever he's practicing? So that's kind of why we just, like, picked it then, I guess, without the bans. But yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and to us playing good, I mean, I think game 1 was kind of bad.
You guys should have won both games. It's fine, though. Like, you guys...
Like, I think game 1, we on the map, we were very, very dizzy. Like, I think we never really actually got to push out a wave. They always had, like we were always scared. Like, we never had wards when we were retaking. So they got to, like, we were scared of them, like, camping, not basing, and killing us. And then by the time we actually got to push out a wave, they were already back from base, and now they play again, you know? So it was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? Like, we were just getting so fisted, but that was kind of game 1, yeah. Game 2, we played better, though, I think.
It's like a recurring theme from yesterday, though. Do you feel like that's from stage? Just like this being scared of doing or like being a lot more proactive than you could be? Or is
it's
it just
stage,
names?
definitely some stage, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of times in scrims, I will call it a bit better. But also in game 1, I guess I was busy, like, trying not to die a lot of times. Because, like, early game was a disaster, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, I could have done better. But I also think it's something, like, everyone should be good at, you know? So it's something we are still working on. It's definitely, like, in practice, it's one of the things that I probably focus the most on, you know? Like, where to be on the map, like, be quick, basing fast, like, all of this stuff. I think game 1 was definitely not very good when it comes to that, yeah.
You have to call it. Do you call it because you have younger? I guess they're not really young, but younger players, like more rookie-ish players, or why do you call? Or just because it's your point of priority as top laner.
I mean, I think it's probably a bit of both. I mean, I think I understand the game like decently, so I guess I like to speak my mind, and then it also involves me, right? I mean, sometimes it doesn't, but. Well, it's me who pushes out a wave. Either I'm farming, not farming. I can use, like, basically in the Jace game, I was just, like, receiving a lot of waves. And then once the objective spawned, I was just, like, on mid, you know? Whereas we could have potentially, I could have pushed the wave. We could have, like, threatened the Olaf maybe, especially, like, a lot of times he had, like, no ult or, like, no ghost or, like, a lot of times maybe even no flash. And we actually had damage with our comp. We didn't have, like, a typical Exodia Olaf game where he can just run in and never die, because like one time even on mid, I think later in the game when I did it, he should have been dead. I think even Joppa said like he tried to like throw 6E or something, and then Olaf had already ghosted past him or something. And like, I mean, if he runs into like 6E or like Anivia walls him or anything, it's like I think our comp was not bad. So we definitely didn't lose because of draft, but we had some other things that were like holding us back. Yeah.
Okay, so overall, are you satisfied with how you're playing compared to last split? Actually, okay, how much did you practice during splits or between the splits? Sorry, are you like actively playing solo queue? Like watching?
I'm in off so slow. I'm in off so slow right now.
No,
so
that was gonna be my next question, because you know, I haven't seen you in chat for a while, and the little birdie told me that at the watch party last week, you told him that you're not coming to my chat because you're also master right now.
Yeah, it's true. No, I think, I mean, we are playing. We had like 2 weeks before, basically we scrimmed like a month before the split started, I think. And 2 weeks before that, we started playing like solo queue and like some 1v1s again against like different people that were actually playing at that point, mostly ERL players, I guess. So we got in shape. So I guess we have played for like 1.5 months. We have at least played now already. I mean, even more now, I guess, because the split has been going on for 2 weeks already. So yeah, I mean, we have played But I guess like solo queue when it was like right fresh after the previous split, oof, I was not touching that shit. So yeah, no fucking way.
Right now in scrims, can you give me like a quick rundown of how top lane is in reviews, especially? Like, are you connected to reviews, or is it just the usual? Yeah, you know, jungle support kind of runs the map, especially in this roaming meta, or do you get involved because we see a lot of, especially in second game, for example, right, where you have the 2v2 level 1 and stuff, and support just like doing their own thing because the top lane matchup can be very volatile.
It's definitely, there's like a lot of new situations that a lot of, I guess, like every team is not used to because of like everything that comes with laning together and like all of the stuff. So there was definitely like in the beginning, at least, when everyone was like spamming like Camille every game, like there was a lot of things like, wow, we can get caught like that, or what if we cover top and they make a play on our mage bot instead or something like that, you know? Like there was like a lot of things where you had to involve everyone. I think right now it's mainly just like the level ones are like pretty, I think everyone kind of knows how to. I mean, we don't really get cheesed too much. I don't think we saw like too many like level 1 where like the game was just lost either in all the other games. So that is like taken care of. But I think the next part about top lane is just like, yeah, when you play matchups like I did game 2, they stack a wave. I need to have people defending me, otherwise the game just explodes, you know? So it's like a lot about this. Yeah, like, yeah, you should be calling here. I need to know like 30, 40 seconds before. Yeah, or do we cross map or something like that? But in these kind of games, in these kind of matchups, you don't really want to end up giving Vayne a kill and 5 plates, you know, for free. So we kind of have to match it.
Do you think that's most an in-game thing, or also usually related to draft? Because I feel like even if, let's say, you call the dive ahead of time, right? But they do have the stronger 3v3. Let's say they have the Leona, right? And then they have the Vayne, and then, I don't know, like a jungler that can fight Lee Sin, for example, right? And you have, I don't know, Rel plus something. I feel like in higher tier leagues, like LPL, LCK, like if it was BLG, for example, I feel like they would still dive you on the slow push. Do you think that's something you can always fix in-game, or is it just like, okay, low-key our draft sucks, right? Like in hindsight, if you get dove on stage and you kind of do the right thing, but it still happens, like, is that something where you just say, okay, like our draft kind of sucks, and how much time do you guys put into drafting?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I guess if you feel like with perfect play you can't get dove, I mean, it's like, I mean, sure, it requires some kind of level of play for like the Vayne, Leona side, for example, in this game to play as well. But they have like an easier game. Like we are the ones reacting, and then we have to like, for example, I have to not take bad trades, because if I take bad trades and my Rel is there, then I'm getting dove anyways. Like I'm 1 HP, like they can just dive me in her face. It doesn't matter. And then we have to play like very patient. Like we can't just like 100-0 all in. Like I have to like hit some Qs, Vayne has to dash forward, and then maybe Rel trade some HP with him, and then because he's not running TP, I can TP back. Like, you have to play perfect. This is my point, right? Like, and then you can stay in the game. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is draft, but I think with our level right now and in Europe, I think you can't really blame the draft on that. Like, you can for sure outplay it. I think, yeah, I don't think our drafts have been too bad. Besides, yesterday game 2 was kind of awful, but that's
Of course, I already flamed Mickey. Like, what do you get another silence player, buddy? Like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of things.
I only have one thing left, I think, because I saw like there's a lot of EIL players right now that just like call it, you know, because they say like, yeah, I don't have the passion anymore, and I don't really play anymore. And I know you don't play like that much solo queue, but would you? Okay, like, obviously you're gonna say yes, but do you feel like you're 100% like into the game still, and you know you have the drive to still put out, like, let's say meta shifts, you know, you need to learn like 3 new champions, would you still be able to put out like 10 solo queue games per day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing. I mean, it's a long time. I mean, it's even like, I mean, people will say, "Oh, that's why you're not good anymore." But even in 2019, I didn't like play for the love of the game. Really, I played for like the love of the competition and like playing here. This is also why I probably wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't play like seriously if it was like I had to play in like an ERL team somewhere. I think I would play maybe ERL for fun, but like it would not be like where I'm like mega tryharding. But yeah, I mean, I will play like, I mean, I've like showing up to scrims and like putting in my best effort, and then because it translates to, I mean, being here and like playing here. So yeah, I mean, I think that's why I play, and that's why I played for like the past, yeah, I mean, 8 years or something almost at this point, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I'm done because
Thank you, thank you.
all the starts. Who's winning? MKOI or Fnatic? Say Fnatic.
I think Fnatic is winning. You
you-
also did Fnatic. Fnatic coach, remember?
Do you really think so? Or they just
I
say
actually
it
think
to-
so. Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
actually think so. I mean, MKOI, I think maybe is like a better. I just don't really know what's going on with the MKOI, and I think it depends on how Fnatic top laner plays. I think he is better than Mervin, and I think last split,
yeah,
Emperor's was not better than Mervin, so I think they for sure have like an upgrade in that sense. So yeah, I think they could win.
Yeah.
I think they could win. Yeah.
If they lose,
Yeah.
I pray on your downfall. Thank you for the interview.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay. Stay in master with me. Okay. See ya.
Yeah. I'm banned right now. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
See ya,
Well,
bro. Yeah.
see ya.
Yeah. Perfect. Hammer. Super.
For in this matchup, it's upset, it's super. I feel like both of these players, they have a pretty big ego, and they lay it all on the line in the game. And
Wie
they
gebannt?
fight
Na, ist ja nicht so
tooth and
wichtig.
nail. So no mages,